9 to noon inside the Iron Jock studios. Iron Jock wants you to be playing your absolute best in the fall golf season because there's still a couple of weeks left to be playing. And sometimes fall golf is the best kind of golf. Also, there's still some nice weather just to be hanging out in. And Iron Jock wants you feeling and looking your absolute best. Most importantly, they don't want you smelling while you're doing it. So now through August 18th, you're going to get 35% off Iron Jock's entire golf line. That's polos, vests, quarter zips, and more. 35% off with promo code GOLF. 35 Golf. 35 Golf gets you 35% off all the golf line at ironjock.com, ironjoc.com for more details. Details yesterday from Christian Yelich, not good. But the details and the results were good from American Family Field after it was a final. And this man joined the Drew and KB experience in the afternoons, 3 to 6 right here on The Game. He's the host of the Baseball Postgame Show. He's the franchise Tim Allen, our franchise player. Timmy, how do you, with 41 games to go, stack this news up with the gut punches of season-ending injuries of like the last 6 years for the Brewers? Because there's a laundry list of them. The 2019 headliner, I think, with Yelich is maybe the most difficult one to get over. I think of Brandon Woodruff's tearful press conference a year ago, like right before we're reading the wild card series roster. Man, this one's tough. However, maybe because there was some buildup to it, and there's a number 11 on the team now, it somehow feels a little bit more cushioned.
Yeah, well, it makes me hate Chicago even more.
That's a good way of putting it.
I like that. Yeah.
You know, look at Giovanni, look at Jimmy Nelson, look at Christian Yelich, because that's when he was pulled from that game in Chicago. So
yeah, you're right.
It's just got that little jinx to it. I'm sure Woody probably had an issue in Chicago. I'd have to go back and find out if the Brewers were playing the Cubs at Wrigley late that season, and maybe something strained there. But I think they knew this. This is just me, and I don't want to open up a conspiracy can of worms or anything. But doesn't it seem ironic that boom, bam, just done. We're getting surgery. Just no notice, just boom. And yet you got to schedule surgeons and assistants and all these things. It's just boom tomorrow. Now, I think they knew this earlier in the week, and then that may explain the flatness on Monday and Tuesday, games 1 and 2 of this series.
Yeah, but maybe I'm wrong, but that's
a good point.
Is Yelich a little bit of a VIP? I mean, he's not walking in with his insurance card and saying like we have.
That's true. He doesn't have to fill out the forms probably in the front office to get in.
I think you have a good point there, Tim. I think this is probably something they thought was the most likely outcome that they planned for. Maybe waited. I don't know.
Became more of a clear understanding over the last couple of days.
Got to get a video cut and we're going to release it. But maybe it was Yelich. To me, my suspicion is Yelich was going to try and push for every other alternative he could. Because I can't imagine if he had a choice, he'd want this to happen and not try and say, hey, listen, just give me a month to rest it. If I rest it, maybe I can get 2 at-bats in the playoff. You know, he'd want to do anything, I would think, as a player, because you don't know how many chances you'll get to be in the playoffs, even in this day and age when a lot more teams make it.
Yeah.
At his age and those situations, you don't know how many chances.
You're producing this way.
Yes, exactly.
And Bronny did something similar in 20, right? Where he was kind of nursing, then boom, they couldn't use him.
Yeah, glad you said 20. I thought you were going to say 2011, and he didn't use. But if Yelich was doing that, wouldn't be the problem. We'd find out about it in a couple of years. But Tim, it is one of those moments for Christian where we had somebody asking if he can, win the batting title still this year. I don't know exactly how the numbers work out and I think he can, but I'm not positive as to the split
I'm not
for
positive either. Some sort of, is it qualifying tiers and steps that you take throughout the season?
And it's the amount of at bats that you have within the games that you played of your team. Like it's 2.5 at bats.
It's from what I'm reading, it's 3.1 plate appearances per scheduled game in that league.
Yeah, so I don't know if he's going to be able to.
It's going to need 5. Yeah. I think he'd need 502 is what I'm looking at. Now, the thing about it is, he's not going to get there, obviously.
Yeah, won't get there. But more than anything, Tim, what you were able to see, and I think this is the most difficult part of it, and you've talked about it a number of different times, Christian's not the most dynamic into a microphone, right? He's not winning any awards for a public speaking event.
I don't
However,
think he wants to be.
I don't think he gives a rip,
Yeah,
right?
right.
He doesn't care what anybody else thinks other than those dudes that are in the clubhouse that he's playing with. And we played the audio from him yesterday, a couple of minutes ago. Dude, that sounds like an emotional cat that was trying to keep it together. And on any human level, I don't know how even the people have rode the roller coaster with Christian Yelich's Brewers tenure. Even those that have done it to the nth degree,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how at the end of the day you can't feel more than ever how much that guy cares about winning and tries to care and feels real pain for not being able to be a part of this thing right towards a stretch run with 41 games to go.
It wasn't Woody emotional.
No,
but it was maybe as emotional as you're probably going to, as close to emotional as you're probably going to get with Christian Yelich. There's too much compete in these guys for this not to hurt, no matter what they're making monetarily. There's so much compete in these guys. I mean, Billy, you know what it's like to be an athlete, and it's just you lock all of that other stuff out, whether it's education in your case, or it's money, it's money
About the stray.
in other cases, or you might be going to your bowling league tonight or whatever,
or
and you lock everything out.
Yeah,
you might be going through a divorce, and maybe the bowling league is why, but you lock it all out. And there's so much compete in him. This, I think they knew, guys, and yet still here we are, 69 and 52, 41 to play, an absolute legitimate crack, with or without Yelich, at the number 1 seed in the National League, and that comes with some cachet, and that comes with some swagger, and they just got to. It's nothing new, really, when you think about all the injuries between Miley and Woody and Williams. Let alone everybody in that bullpen has had a break.
Everybody. But it's amazing. It's kind of amazing that the more injury adversity this team faces, but they've won through all of it. So it's actually, a great thing. It's a great part of the story that, and it feels like it's been like this most years. I mean, last year we were talking about the same thing. This team has so many injuries and they're winning. This team, and you talk about the significant injuries going into the play. I go back to 2008 when Ben Sheets. It was going to be Sabathia and Sheets. It was going to be CC and Ben.
And you were getting Giovanni back right at the end.
We got a pair of aces and a wild card. That was the big thing going into the playoffs. Ben pitches a shutout in September. I can't remember who at home. I think it's 1-0 shutout win, a complete game. And the next thing you know, he comes in, he's like, my arm's broke and, I can't do it. You know how Ben was. And it was just, he was out. And it's like, can we ever get a healthy team for a playoff run? But the flip side of it is, I don't know if we were fully healthy but didn't win. I don't know how I'd feel about it. So, I mean, it's kind of this weird Sophie's choice you have, but it just really stinks not to have Christian. He doesn't show the I mean, you talk about all the things you sacrifice, even a player of Christian status.
Big time.
We just don't hear much about him anyway. Like, he just keeps his head down and goes about his business. Personal relationships, none of that to speak of. There's no Yelich restaurant, things like that. I think he just does his thing. Remember, guys, he was the one that, for all the frivolity that some of the guys bring in the clubhouse, the Adamises, they tried the Bell, the Cheesehead. He wasn't the guy that said we don't do all that
kind
stuff.
Of all business.
He didn't want that stuff. So there's a steadying influence there, and obviously his production that the Brewers are going to miss. It stinks.
I'm excited though, Tim, and I'm interested to get your take on it. We touched on it just before bringing you on that. Since Jackson Chourio is now on the team, like Ron and Stalis says, I hate to put the pressure on Chourio to carry this team, but man, my boy is looking like the real deal. Realistically, I could see Contreras being that guy from here on out. Willy Adames, I mean, top 5 in the league in RBIs. It's hard to not say his bat needs to be a part of it, but you need to have somebody playing a little out of their mind. And if indeed this continues to roll for number 11, hey man, Corbin Carroll was the best player on that team last year that represented the National League in the World Series. Do you see that, or is that just, me with the blue and gold colored glasses on after I watched that 82 Brewers documentary trailer earlier on today?
I hate to be that guy that says, oh, the sound of the ball off the bat or anything like that. You go back and listen to it, listen to the ball off the bat of Braun, listen to the ball off the bat of Jackson Chourio. There's some eerie, similar stuff going on there. And it was a little different than our guy K-Train. Keston Hiura situation. He
Sure.
was a little more barrel to the ball, but it didn't have that just juice in it. And so Jackson, can he do it? Why not? I mean, clearly he is headed toward a superstar career. What more do you need to see here?
Yeah,
the
he
kid
seems
is
special.
20 years old.
Right.
Add 2 years, add 4 years, 5 years. This kid is something special. Now, can he carry a team? We're going to find out. I love when he speaks. Man, I was just reading some old quotes from Jackson Chourio, and I say old, they were months ago, but I'm here to win a World Series. I want to win a World Series just immediately out of the chute. He's not afraid to say it. I'm here to compete and win a World Series.
Yeah.
That's it. And so, but they're going to have other guys, Billy, to your point, step up here. Whether it's Rhys Hoskins or, Jake Bowers, he's been pretty decent off the bench, guys. He really has. And he can go through skids a little bit, but it's about these young players. And I am kind of puzzled about, force feeding Garrett Mitchell into the 3, force feeding Tyler Black into the 3 and 4.
Here, Timmy. Yes.
And I'm curious about that, whether that's going to pay off, because it almost seemed like it was spring training for them. Go out there and experience the LA iconic Dodgers logo here and the big Goliath in the building, and go see what happens. This will help you down the line. And they ended up 2-2 through all that and got the experience. So I wouldn't have done that sort of thing. That would have been Sanchez Hoskins toward the top of the lineup if it were me, but he is dedicated to this young team.
Yeah. Do you think that's a Murph Arnold collaborative altogether piece? Because you're exactly right. I mean, since Garrett Mitchell has come back, I don't know that he's hit, Timmy. You know it better than me. What, lower than like 6th? I mean, like he's been in the top seemingly portion of the batting order, especially as of late during some struggles
He's
here.
Stuck with Terang through the struggle,
hammering them right up top.
And the guy we just talked about, Jackson. I mean, Jackson had a lot of struggles, and they did not send him down. They did not waver.
Yep.
And I'm sure part of that thinking is we're staying the course as long as we can afford to do it while winning. We're staying the course and looking for the long-term gains.
They come hell or high water. They're staying the course.
Yeah,
no doubt. I mean, you're looking at. The homestand was looking really ugly for guys like Terang, Frelick, Mitchell. Chourio even was 2 for 18. And then you had Bryce Terang, which was 1 for 16. Sal Frelick, 1 for 15. You had Garrett Mitchell 0 for 12 or 13 in the homestand. But it didn't matter. He still sent him out there.
Yeah.
Well, it's a luxury, no doubt. When the rest of the division doesn't even want to go 500. It is a luxury right now.
It is kind of fun
to be able to handle that. And like, you can go both ways, thinking like, will this pay dividends down the road in the playoffs? Will it not? Part of it is too. I mean, these are just the guys they want to have in there, and I think you got to be patient, let it go. I guess that's the nice thing about it. The Brewers are 9 games up in the Central. It's even when they started to lose a little bit, it's like nobody else wanted to win. So it was pretty amazing. Timmy, I think it was
going to clinch a division title.
I mean,
take a look at the schedule and you're like, I hope they do it at home. Let's celebrate. It's 41 left, 9 games. I mean, come on.
I know it's incredible stuff. I just don't want fans to still take that for granted. I know it's like when you start hitting the playoffs every year.
I'll say this though, it is hard not to.
Yeah, I know.
Yes.
I know, because now we're used to this team being in the playoffs when that used to be a fantasy from the heavens to make a playoff run as a Brewer fan.
There's a reason why when you were working at the stadium, Armin, in 07, that they had 13 Friday night games where they handed out bobbleheads of a team 25 years ago that made the playoffs.
And this team, when they won game 81, was it 05? Timmy, you remember?
Yeah,
I mean,
non-losing season.
You guys were popping champagne at Fiesta Garibaldi on the patio.
I'll never forget. It was at San Diego, I want to say. And they had Damian Miller hit a home run, and they won 6-5. You just were almost on the verge of tears, thinking we're gonna have a 500 ball club.
And it's that competitive spirit, Tim. It's that kind of drive that, you know what, has you take a damn excavator out to the beach and grab some sand for yourself. All right,
he was just doing some maintenance on his
Timmy,
house.
he's trying to save the environment.
Right, he's got permits. He's got
permits. Pulled all the legal permits here. These billionaires are fascinating, dude. I love it. And to be able to hear the back and forth, and I don't know if it's been the same on the post game show because we get a text or two every single day asking us about the story. Have you addressed it? Have you made joke about it? Have you mentioned it? Because many people love talking about Mark Attanasio's pocketbooks. So if they could possibly say that he's doing something nefarious, I can only assume people would be pouncing on that opportunity.
Well, let's not rush to judgment.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You don't know what's going on. How many times have you argued with your neighbor or some barking dog or a fence or a property line? It's your weeds
playing
over there.
your electric guitar with the amplifier way too loud, way too late at night. Yeah.
It's just, come on.
Come
on. We don't know all the details, but it is kind of interesting that, hey, he's a human being too, has neighbors, and he was just doing some
and likes to fight with his neighbors.
Except
like I like that style.
They're all hedge fund billionaires. They want to get angry at each other.
The best part is, Tim, I could already. It sounded immediately like the story of your boy Dave Tepper with the Carolina Panthers. My man got, I believe it was fired or turned down for a job like 20 years ago. I believe at like a Merrill Lynch, right? Fortune 500 company. Guy that turns him down for the job. He at then point 20 years later buys guy's house that he's had for 30 years, levels the son of a gun, puts a house up 2 times the size just to be able to say your place wasn't good enough for me anymore. Yeah, that's a Mark Attanasio story that we're in right now, and I love it.
Could be. It's almost as if we've all done it. We're driving, and don't you wish you had enough money to bash that car that just cut you off? And as long as you don't hurt anybody.
Yeah, as long as no one's hurt.
Bash into them and just say, no, take that now. Learn how to drive.
I did think it was interesting that this story gave us some sort of the headline gave us some sort of confirmation that Mark actually is a billionaire. This is something that angry Brewers fans that think he doesn't spend enough money always argue about. How rich is Mark? How rich is Mark? Of course, net worth though is different. Than I mean, his Brewers assets when he would
little
sell
different,
them.
right? Yeah, no doubt about it. John in Green Bay, Timmy, before we let you go, said, "You're informing me the Brewers were flat on Monday and Tuesday because of the Yelich news." Then they make a turnaround of 100% Wednesday and Thursday. Interesting. So should we be riding high and sweep Cleveland? Game on.
Oh,
minus 110 money line.
Oh, come. I don't understand gambling these days.
Why not?
I was just thinking about this morning. Why do both teams have a minus?
Timmy, how long have you been going to Las Vegas?
I know, but still.
They ain't giving you plus money.
How do you think they're building those places?
So they want that
one
juice.
of them in a sporting event, give one of them a plus.
They shut down Las Vegas Boulevard yesterday so they could move the Mirage sign. They're kind of making some money out there.
Hey, that's going to the Neon Sign Museum, though. Hey, are you excited about this 82 Brewers documentary? I know you are. Surprised, Tim. They're going with this angle. I'm just shocked.
I'm stunned. That's what they're going with.
You see the Charlie Moore?
He's such a fox.
Charlie Moore.
Yeah.
You wanted to have a beer in every bar in Milwaukee.
Oh yeah. It is tough seeing the preview.
You think he was able to do it?
I don't know. Probably with those boys. Probably.
You have to go to a lot of bars though.
Hey, you were talking about Iron Jock, and I'm not kidding you. I'm not just doing this to pony up to a client.
Yeah,
I am literally with my Iron Jock tee on right now.
Yes.
I'll be jamming at the Kenosha County Fair today.
Let's go.
A big gig.
That's a huge gig.
Huge. Yeah.
Let's rock.
2:00 today, right in the middle of my nap. Are you kidding me?
Oh my goodness. And then show tonight.
And then post-game show tonight.
This guy's a freaking Iron Man.
That's in like Wilmot, right? That's a big
It's in
fair.
Wilmot.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's a big
Wilmot by the Wilmot Raceway.
Yes. Yeah, right next door.
So.
Yep.
Oh my goodness. Okay, that sounds like the party. I might be down. Timmy, we're trying to get Armin to join the party in November.
Trying to. We'll see what happens. That's gonna be.
He likes Luxor.
I love it. If I can put in work now, maybe I can convince some important powers that be. That's what. I'm gonna stay blue.
We're
collar.
a blue collar ball club. We just want to go to Luxor and party for a couple of days.
Exactly. So
well, if you need money, I mean, I got a few chores around the house. I could pony up some cash.
Well, it makes you feel good that you want me there that bad that you only pay me.
Yes,
money.
we want you there that bad, Armin. Come on.
We'll see what happens. I don't think I need to take money for. I don't know. Actually, I would. I'll make some money. Maybe.
Hey, Monica, go make some money.
Can we pick up some extra shows or something like that?
Let's pick up a show, make some extra money so Armin can come to Vegas with us.
Yes.
All right, buddy. We'll be listening tonight as the Crew takes on the Guardians.
All right, boys. Thanks.
See you, man. That's Tim Allen, franchise player, the franchise, the voice, and the host of the Baseball Post Game Show. Here on 9 to noon, we'll check in with John Kuhn in about 15 minutes or so, live from the Mile Get High City as the Packers take on the Broncos in a joint practice. Preseason game coming up on Sunday night. You got 9 to noon on the game. It's the movie we didn't realize we needed it one more time, 9 to noon on the game. Armin Sarian talked about it with Tim Allen, the franchise, a couple of minutes ago.
Oh, I'm excited though for it. Don't
Another
get me wrong.
82 Brewers documentary.
I make my little jokes and I laugh about how, we've seen this before.
But you're going to be there at a Marcus
Oh.
Theaters on September 13th
Are you
when that
kidding
thing
me?
is
We got
out.
We got new interviews with the same guys, but they're new interviews.
Yes.
Maybe new stories.
Maybe.
My
Or
question,
exaggerated versions of the same stories that you've heard.
right?
But
Which
go
I
ahead.
which I love. Fish stories gotta get bigger. You want to hear the same story over and over again. It's funny, but my question is always this: is there any unearthed video or video we haven't seen yet? That's sometimes the tough thing with stuff like this. Is I think when we're 70 and 80, Billy, they're gonna have great documentaries pop up because someone's gonna have extra cell phone behind the scenes video that they have on their phone.
Yeah.
I don't know that we're going to have any new, have I seen every piece of quote unquote behind the scenes video? Or is there any locker room video? Is there any clubhouse funny stuff going on that would be fun to watch? That's the only thing. But hey, listen, it'll be fun. I know they're going with the whole blue collar. I mean, of course, right? Right.
I mean, in the middle of
Haven't heard
a recession,
No.
people out of work. What did
Another
they
one.
need? They needed a team.
A town
that needed a team, and a team that needed a town.
Let's go, baby. So I can make a joke, but I'm all in on this
Oh,
stuff.
you cannot wait. You cannot wait.
You can make an 82 Brewers documentary every 6 months, and I will watch it.
And you'll be watching
I'll
it.
eat it
Yes.
up. I will cry. I will do it all.
That's the part of it, and I
But
don't.
We didn't even win it all.
That's the best part of the trailer. It's 2
I
minutes
know,
long, and I saw
know.
Adam McCalvey tweet it this morning, and instantly I'm watching it. Right away, I send it to you because I know how much you're gonna love it.
I love
know.
it.
I send it to my parents because I know how much they're gonna love it. Right? I mean, like my dad was one of the guys that in the midst there was during the recession laid off. And he's like, sweet,
Yeah.
I'm going to buy all these playoff tickets
What you could do back then.
right away.
In theory, I mean, it
He's
wasn't.
like, and then I'm going to sell them and make money
Oh,
since I'm
okay.
on layoff.
Oh, okay. I
and
see.
what did he do? Ended up going to all the games because he's
Going-
like, why do I want to miss this game?
I've got these tickets. I'm going to the games. So he went to the World Series.
So he was there. It's
Oh, my gosh.
it's amazing. And when I was a kid, and I mean, I don't mean to wax poetically and really have Armin
Do
in
it. Just
in
do
a
it.
rocker, but
Do it.
I mean, my dad's whole upper drawer was filled with ticket stubs.
That's so cool.
And
man.
all of them in like pristine condition of the entire 82 playoff run. And he'd spread them out on the bed and like, they're like, we're at this game and that game and that game and this game. So everybody still puts themselves in those moments that lived through it and loved it. And dang it, at the end of it, they're not going to show game 7.
It just thinks because like no matter what I do,
Just delete game 7, and it's a really, really great story.
no matter how much I watch, no matter what I do, that the outcome doesn't change. Like I really believe every time that maybe it'll be different this time. Like, but it can't be. But Billy, it's kind of cool. It shows us how even in ultimate, like what ended up being a loss, how much enjoyment we can still get out of sports and out of a team that really did. I mean, no team has had an effect that didn't win the world championship as much as this one.
I
did.
can't find one that did. I
No.
mean, look around all of professional sports. It's a team that is still discussed like this one is.
And I have no problem with it.
Didn't win the title.
And I know some people don't like that. I don't have a problem with it. I don't ever sit there and say, "Oh, we're celebrating losers," or "We didn't even." I don't.
I would just
no.
like to have another team to make documentaries
Game
about.
7, man. Game 7. You get to Game 7 of the World Series. It's hard for me to call you a loser, but I know they didn't get the trophy. But
But they lost the game.
I get the point. I get that.
But they didn't win the game.
And you know what? That will never change. We can
Yeah,
still-
so it's history.
we
Can't
still,
change
we
it.
can still appreciate the feelings, the memories, the moments, the joy that they did give. You know?
mentioned though something that I want to gnaw on. Is John going to join us coming up right after this?
here at 10, right next. Yep, next segment. Yep.
Because people are already hitting us up on the talking text line like Bricky. Stop living in the past, man. But I got something
Come
for
on, man.
the docu heads, right? The docu series heads, the
Yeah.
documentary fans, what have you. We're walking into the golden age of it. And
Mm,
maybe one of the voices of your childhood, Bob Costas,
okay.
is the one that led me towards this. I want to get to this after we check in with John Kuhn in the Mile High City. Our fullback is at Packers practice, Packers and Broncos joint practice. This is a great one for John Kuhn. His former team plays his former boss, Sean Payton. So there's going to be a long 5 days out in Denver. learning as much as possible about the team, and he's going to relay with us everything that he'll be telling you and learning for the television broadcast coming up on Sunday night. John and Kevin will be bringing that to you statewide, and we'll be bringing you the game on the Packers Radio Network in hour 2 statewide. Has John Kuhn in Denver in a matter of moments right here on the game.
Get run over there, Tom. I went down to Capitol Grove for a minute.
You gonna try to hit it to like the red rocks and that stuff?
I might do that later, either tonight or tomorrow.
I think.
Hey, John, how's it going?
Good. How you doing, Mark?
Good.
Hey, Mark, how you doing?
Ben, how are you?
All right. I think they said was it a Method Man supposed to be there tonight?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, that'll be sweet.
So, did
How's
you
it
come out
going,
with us,
guys?
John? Or
I did.
Okay.
I did. I did.
Yeah. Doesn't make sense. Yeah, it's so easy when you.
It's a much better. It's a much better flight home. The only problem is now I got a couple of days. I got to kill some time here after practice today
here,
and
yeah.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
But Matt's got a production meeting tomorrow, so we got enough to keep us busy. I'll be right back. I got to do this one segment.
Got work to do.
Yep.
This is like the nice. Well, I guess you guys know.
Nine to noon on the game. Welcome back to the program. And welcome to the Mile Get High City as John Kuhn joins us now from Denver, Colorado, rocking the Ray-Bans, got the practice towel over the shoulder. How hot is it there, John? What's the SPF rating that we got to have here coming up today?
Now we're going to have at least 50 on the forehead here because it's going to be a steamer. It's going to be an absolute steamer out here at practice today. 95 degrees is what they're calling for, but guys, no humidity. It's about as nice as you could ask for. It's setting up. It looks like it's going to be a pretty damn nice day.
So you're saying it's a dry heat? Is that what they always say? Is that like or not, John? I mean, because it looks hot
It's a
out
heat.
there.
Yeah, it's a heat.
When you got the towel, I mean, you don't even sweat ever, but I mean, you might sweat today. I feel like usually you don't.
Uh-oh.
We lost you for a second. Oh, go ahead. Say it again, John.
Drier. But guys, I'm going to tell you, this is set up to be absolutely beautiful.
We're losing a little bit.
Losing a little bit there. Yeah.
Give you guys.
Oh, that looks good. Okay,
we're
we got a
looking at
little view of the blocking sled right there. The practice field's rolling behind John. Okay, come on now.
Right behind here's
The indoor practice facility. That's a gorgeous spot right there.
Yeah, that is nice.
We're gonna need them headphones back in. I think there we go. I think the headphones were exactly the issue. They weren't the issue.
Yeah, I don't know. We're losing John.
We're losing John a little bit. Hey, Mile
out.
Get High City. They're being a little bit rude.
I think a lot of it. I think it's the.
I think it's the noise behind is also potentially an issue at the moment, or it's the internet.
Signal.
Because
Might just be the signal. Yeah.
There's a lot of mountains and a lot of skiers and hikers and clouds that could potentially be blocking the reception here, which is an interesting part of 2024. That reception is an issue, but it gives us plenty of time to let you know that this hour of the program is brought to you by Happy Place Hemp and happyplacehemp.com. So everybody right now, relax. It's Happy Place Hemp. Smile knowing that you're going to get 25% off your entire order every single time at happyplacehemp.com, whether it's the pet tinctures, whether it's the muscle creams, whether it's the Delta 8, Delta 9 recreational gummies, CBN, CBD, Sleepy Time gummies as well. Anything you're grabbing from happyplacehemp.com, 25% off when you use promo code Billy. And they also have other things that could, potentially make it feel like you're in the Mile Get High City, like where John Kuhn is for Packers and the Denver Broncos joint practice. So great aerial shots, great vantage points here of practice.
We got a good visual when we needed to.
That was exactly it. We set the scene. Now, John, what was the vibe as the team ended up landing last night? What were we able to get into in background information before today's activities, or was it quickly bed checks and we'll see you in the morning for the important stuff?
Well, guys, it was business as usual. They're treating today like their big time game, because that's really all the starters are going to do here today. They're going to come out, they're going to have this practice, and then by about the time this ends here today, the starters, they're going to be done, and they're going to be doing some team building and some other stuff like that, because they're using this trip to build in that asset, and then you're going to get the backups that are going to play in the game. So this is the big game. This is the big one, and you can feel some of the butterflies. You can feel some of the tension, some of the anxiety in the air at the hotel here today. And as we boarded the buses to come to the stadium, it's business as usual, and this one's like a game for them.
Did you drive the bus, John, or is that we're waiting for next summer for that? I didn't know we were talking so much about driving buses yesterday. I didn't know if you were driving it or just riding.
Yeah, well, Armin, we roll deep. I'm on the back of bus 8 here.
8?
Back of bus 8, and
Wow.
I just try and keep my head out of the clouds and away from anything
hard.
important. So
Right.
stay out of the way and just see how much you can catch and watch here at these practices. But one thing I am really excited to see is I'm excited to see this defense go up against Bo Nix. Right?
Yeah.
He had himself a pretty good preseason game 1, and by all accounts, he looks like a guy who's going to end up being a starting quarterback for this Broncos team this year. So I'm looking to see what kind of stuff that they can put on them here now, and what kind of pressure they can get on him, and if they can force any turnovers today, because we know those safeties have been getting their hands on the ball.
Yeah, John, and that's one thing that last year when the Patriots came to town, it definitely, and the year prior when the Saints came as well, you just get a different vantage point knowing and seeing for the last number of days, last couple of weeks, Packers defense has looked really, really good. It can be a good verifying moment where you can say, okay, yeah, this pass rush is getting home on other front fives. It's not just an issue with our front five blocking up for Jordan Love. No, this is a pretty good pass rush that's going to be able to do some things. This is a good verification, I think, as to what we've been able to see, and validation moment for what we've seen on the perch.
Well, and I'm also excited, when you talk about this defensive front, I mean, they got a guy called Quinn Maynard here, and we all know him very well.
Oh, yes.
One of the best interior linemen in the game. So I'm anxious to see Kenny Clark get matched up against him, Devontae Wyatt get matched up against him, TJ Slayton get matched up against him, and see what the interior of this 4-3 does against a top-notch interior lineman here today. A lot of good matchups here across the board, but that's one that I'm really looking forward to watching.
John Kuhn hanging out with us here in Denver, Colorado, as the Packers get ready to take on the Denver Broncos. You mentioned Bo Nix. I only assume that you're going to be able to check in and chop it up a little bit with Sean Payton and everybody there on the Denver Broncos side. What at least have you been able to, and you'll get a much better feeling for this probably for Sunday night's broadcast, but the optimism around Bo Nix, John, like when you're the 6th quarterback taken out of 12 picks, it's a quarterback. People are going to be somewhat excited and interested in the storyline. But what has been the optimism about that young man? Because it seems like it is really, really high at this moment, and it's been that way ever since they, dropped him off after their pre-draft visit.
Yeah, well, it's funny because I went to the source. I went to our scouts to find out exactly what they thought of Bo Nix. And they said, man, this guy, he might have been the 6th quarterback taken, but he can definitely throw the football at the big league level. And he's perfect for what Sean Payton's offense is going to ask him to do. I found that fascinating because, quite frankly, every team knows, a system. They know how these coaches are going to use these players, and they know what players are going to fit in any system, and they know what players might fit great in certain systems. And for a guy like Bo Nix, maybe there's a system out there that wouldn't fit his set of skills perfectly. But from all accounts, I mean, he's going to fit right in here with what Sean Payton's trying to do with this offense. Run that gap scheme football, have some play action, have quick plays to get it out of your hands, and then take shots deep. So, I mean, there's a lot of excitement here for Bo Nix at the quarterback position because they've been really searching for a quarterback.
Yeah.
I mean, even Peyton Manning was done because his last year, his arm was even shot. So, I mean, they've been looking for a quarterback here for some time in Denver.
Well, and somewhere Tommy and Bayview's walking around saying, how do you like me now?
Oh, loving it.
How do you like me now? Talking about a Bo Nix
walking around like
sweepstakes.
Vince McMahon, no doubt about
and
it. Good
they really,
strut.
and they guys really have, if you think about it. I mean, Peyton was there for a while, but they've gone through guys, thinking Paxton and all these different guys were the answer.
Brock
Since
Osweiler.
Brock Os, maybe since since Jay Cutler was traded. I don't really know, but the quarterback position, guys, as you know, is one of the toughest to figure out, and I guess they're hoping to figure it out. It's been a while for them, no doubt.
You know, the toughest part about these joint practices, fellas, is really just trying to see as much as you can, and you kind of have to divide and conquer with somebody that you really trust. And for
Mhm.
me, that's Larry McCarron.
Mhm.
So, like,
Oh,
because
good one.
they're simultaneously practicing starting defense versus starting offense on one field, and then the opposite starting offense versus the starting defense on the other field. So it's impossible to like see both sides that you want to, unless you perch up somewhere in the middle and the plays perfectly interact with one another, where one team's in a huddle where the other team's at the line of scrimmage. So trying to figure that out to see as much as you can, because you know when you talk about it offensively, I mean, can we get any better look for our wide receivers than Pat Surtain? I mean,
good
you're
point.
talking about a top 3-4 corner in the league. So these wide receivers that we're looking to take the next step, getting to see them matched up against him and some of their other players here in the secondary, like Jaquan McMillan. I mean, this is going to be really good film stuff, really good evaluation for these Packers coaches.
I also love the fact that we got Rock as a part of our back channel sources here. Now, was there any potential discussion? Did Matt Schneidman try to grab the Brick version for his secondary source? And you're like, hey, by the way, the Brick and the Rock are going to be hanging out over here, and we're going to do some masonry on some beautiful work, building up all the blocks of success for Packers football. Was that part of the conversation, John Kuhn?
I have not even heard from Matt Schneidman. I don't know if he got unplugged somewhere and his battery source ran out of energy or something. I have not heard one thing from the AI contributor.
I wonder what that's about. You think he has something else going on? Maybe, you know what? He's probably new
Could
city,
be an American Airlines flight or something.
New city, new batch of matches to go through on whatever.
Maybe he went up to Red Rocks.
You're saying he's
last night and
swiping.
got stuck out in Red Rocks. I don't know.
You know what? You better make sure he's not. Yeah, you better make sure he's okay, first of all. I mean, really, if you haven't heard, you better make sure. And then what's the dinner situation? I know Wayne has a lot of spots in Denver and Colorado.
Well, that's true. It's a place for him.
Up and down the Rocky Mountains, Wayne has a lot of spots. Are you tagging along with him, John, or how does that work?
Well, I took my talents to Capitol Grill last night.
Let's
It was a
go.
short 1 block walk away from the hotel. I mean,
You guys downtown?
I can't complain. We're right downtown. We are staying in a phenomenal spot. And 1 block walk to Capitol Grill, 1 block walk to Ocean Prime. There's so many things right there by us. There's an Asian restaurant that I got to try here tonight. Came highly recommended from the concierge at the hotel. So I'm not worried about what I'm going to be putting in my belly here this weekend, boys. Not one bit.
I bet that Ocean Prime brunch is something lethal there.
Oh, I'm sure they've got something going on.
I bet tomorrow that place is going to be absolutely going.
Well, I can tell you, coconut cream pie from Capitol Grill. That thing's a 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. You're never going to miss with that.
Yeah, that's a hard one to mess up. I mean, like,
agree.
And again, it's Denver, Colorado. So I mean, like the weather is amazing. If indeed the food generally probably just tastes better, right? Like the food just tastes better in Denver, Colorado.
Why is that, Billy?
Because the weather is so much.
Oh, the
nice.
weather.
The weather's so nice. Everyone's in such a positive mindset. The vibes are so high. And it's a great time and a great place to be watching some football here today. John, have you gotten anybody to ask you our favorite question at training camp? So who are you watching? Who are you going to be watching today? Who are you going to be watching today? Because I would like to know, I would really, really like to know how Josh Jacobs and that running back room fare going up against another group where I know they're not going to be going to the ground. It's still going to be a thud style here in this joint practice, but I assume it's a little bit more ramped up for those guys running toting the rock.
Yeah, and I mean, if you know what the Broncos did last year defensively, like it was all about getting better, stopping the run and running the football throughout the course of the year. And they didn't start the season very well. They had a couple people really jump out on them, but by the end of the year, they really firmed that thing up, and they think they got a couple people in here in free agency that can help them in that manner. So running the football here today it's not going to be easy. It's not going, and these joint practices never are. They're always a grind, and there's always somebody pushing and shoving just a little bit after the play. So, I mean, from everything, when you talk about the one-on-ones, we got stuff to watch. Team run, we got a great look on that aspect. And then when they match up and go 11 on 11, that's when it's really going to go down. And that's when we're really going to be able to see where we stack up with another team here in the league.
So you're saying we just can't go off our eye tests now on Sunday night when we watch these guys run. We have to wait for the grades to come out, right? So I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait to see what AJ gets graded because I want to make sure he might be a 98.
That's true.
He might not, get those yards, but he might still be a 98. So John, I'd like to see your grades as well when the game's done. Maybe you can do your own grading on these guys because I always wonder who's grading, besides the coaches. Like, and how subjective are they?
Armin, I can't throw a grade out there. I can't throw a grade. If I'm the guy who says, well, it's unfair to put grade, I can't put a grade out there.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
Don't ask him to do that.
Yeah.
It's a fair
We
point.
gotta wait for AJ to tell us his grade again.
That's true. It generally hits a little bit differently and is a little bit better when the player tells you how well they were graded.
Sure.
That generally is where you believe a whole lot more to it. All right, John, we appreciate it, man. So what is the schedule? They're going to be kicking off here in a matter of moments. We got to plan hour and a half, 2 hours. This is going to be heavy team, right? Like this isn't going to be both sides go off to the side, do their individual drill, and then we're going to get into some scrimmage. We're going to get into 11 on 11s and 1-on-1s rather quickly once they hit the field, right?
Yeah, the players right now are just finishing up getting taped. There's a couple players making their way out to the field right now, doing their stretches. It's nearly the exact same schedule as camp here, Billy. It's nearly the exact same itinerary. So when the players would normally be running out there right at like 10:33, that's when they're going to be running out here today from their stretch routine. And then when they, would be doing their one-on-ones and their walkthroughs, they're going to be doing that right here on the field right about 10:45, 10:50. So it's about to get kicked off here, and the fans are on it. I got to say, I've been to a lot of places now for training camp practices. I've been to Houston. I've been here to Denver. I've been to New England. I was in Cincinnati last year. I've been to LA. Nobody has the setup the way the Packers have a setup for joint practices.
Let's go.
Everybody. This is cool. But everybody's just sitting on the side of a grass hill right here. You got to bring your blankets out and then lay down, and the sun's blasting you in the face.
What?
I'm telling you, Nitschke Field is the spot to see training camp in the entire NFL.
I'm telling you, it's just
They
different.
don't have no brats?
We're built different. We
Yeah,
have
no
to.
kidding.
We have to just appreciate how we've got it because it's pretty good. You know what I'm saying? It's pretty good.
Yeah, it does make you appreciate exactly what the Packers have set up for the viewing public because it is a perfect place to be witnessing this. And John, we're in lockstep on this, thinking this is going to be some of the best theater leading up to NFL regular seasons going forward. The joint practices are going to be what you're going to be wanting to be at. So teams are going to have to get a better setup to be able to enjoy it, man. We appreciate you checking in. We'll be watching coming up on Sunday night, you and Kevin Harlan. Let's make sure the team bonding is also going on with Kevin Harlan. We know he's going to be a part of it. Armin only brought up Wayne Larrivee. There's many other folks on this trip as well.
Many.
Maybe if you can ask Aaron Hill a little bit more about that warm-up because boy may have tweaked something in the hip yesterday. So I might have to get one of those 20-minute dynamic warm-ups like the Packers have going on here.
Well, I know you saw this before I let you leave. I know you saw Philly pull out that comeback win last night for the Can't Miss. I know you saw
better
it.
believe it. Yep.
Indeed.
So we just won ourselves another week. So we're back on the winning ways again. Already got 3 victories here today. So here's my can't miss for this weekend.
Oh, let's go. Let's get it early.
Well, come on
All
now.
right.
Let's hit that thing.
GBP, no matter what the point spread is.
I love it.
That's what I'm talking about.
Packers, no matter what. I love it.
Packers by 100, no matter what. The line right now, as they're sitting there at the Potawatomi Sportsbook that you could be grabbing, Packers catching a full 7.
That's easy money. That's easy. You
With
taking
Sean
that.
Clifford and Michael Pratt.
Come on now.
What kind of disrespect are they talking about here?
And you know what?
These bookmakers got to get out of the darkness. By the way, out of the darkness came for your boy yesterday.
Yes. I wanted to mention that, John, before you go. I think these books, these Aaron Rodgers books are coming in order of importance, but Billy got his. So
I was third in line.
So it was Mike first, then Drew, then Billy.
Who's coming today?
I hope it's me, but it's probably Hunter. I'll be honest with
Hunter,
you.
KB.
John the engineer. I think everyone's going to get one before me, probably. Butch's is probably still sitting in his
Ludwig.
mailbox.
Yeah, Butch's is probably in the mailbox.
It's still in the
yeah,
mailbox.
100%.
Luddy's probably getting one too. I think so.
Well, now you need a flight so you can be able to read it. All right, man. We appreciate it.
Well,
Go
you're not gonna
enjoy
read
practice, and we'll be checking it out. We'll be talking coming up on Monday.
Later, boys. I'll send Armin some text and let him know what's going on out here.
That's what we like to hear.
go.
Boots on the
That's
ground.
inside info, by the way.
We got inside info. Boots on the ground in the Rocky Mountain High.
Rocky Mountain High. You like Little John Denver?
I know. I thought I was going to get it right at the
no,
perfect
it's not
time.
your fault. It's not your fault. It's hard to do.
It is a great one, though.
There we go. Sky. Let it drip all around you.
So good. Come on now.
I'm high.
Oh, man. Yeah, they're going to have some good times. They're going to have some good times in the Rocky Mountain High as the Packers get ready to take on the Denver Broncos. Sunday night, you're going to be hearing it right here on the game. You're going to be watching and listening to John and Kevin on the TV broadcast. You're going to be listening to more Armin Sarian and Billy Schmid on the other side, 9 to noon on the game.
Colorado.
John Kuhn here for Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. And how do you say welcome to your guests? Do you say it with an entry door from Pella Windows and Doors? Because you should. It's the first thing everyone will see, and you can make it memorable. Do you say it with color? Well, again, you should, because the possibilities are endless thanks to Pella's custom colors. Pick any color that you see in the rainbow. Also say it with class. Pella's premium doors stand out due to their distinguished craftsmanship, and you will love every detail. So will your guests. Finally, say it with a great deal. Get 0% interest for up to 3 years with no money down and equal payments. Now let's say it all together. 0% interest, 3 years, no money down, and equal payments. But you have to hurry. This offer ends at the end of the month, August 31st to be exact. Certain restrictions apply. See showroom for details. And when you do, tell Gina Della that John Kuhn sent you. Visit PellaWI.com today.
9 to noon on the game. Couple of wild stories in the world of sports to get to, and a sweet story that Armin Sarian has been waiting to discuss and waiting to be proudly endorsing here today on this August 16th, 2024.
I wish it was an endorsement. But first, I just wanted to, before I lost my chance, we'd be remiss if we didn't say rest in peace to the great Wally, Famous Amos, who passed away at the age of 88 in Honolulu. Man. Wally, a legacy of snack cookies for the American people, for the public, for the working class, to have a nice, delicious, bite-sized cookie.
Common man, yeah.
I want to thank you, Wally, Famous Amos.
What a story. Interesting thing about Famous Amos cookies.
Yeah.
I never really knew what I was going to be expecting.
Sure.
Because it was one where if you're going to eat the cookie, you're going to think those, that 2-pack of the grandma's ones, the nice soft ones.
The grandmas are the big ones, right? Yeah.
Tough one to pass up.
Right.
You go to Quick Trip, it's hard to not grab the 12-pack of cookies right when you walk in.
I mean, obviously they have their own bakery. They're doing things
elite stuff.
They're doing a different level stuff.
Right. Famous Amos, you walk by and you're like, wait a second. Why is this by the snacks?
Right.
Shouldn't be by the chips.
But it's not a chip.
It's not a pretzel.
It's not, yeah.
But then you open it and you're like, oh my God, they're mini bite-sized Chips Ahoy.
And I think when you don't, have a chance, when you never had a chance to get anything else but a salty snack from like a vending machine.
Correct.
You're in class or you're traveling or something, and you want something a little sweet, but you didn't want candy.
I don't want Cool Ranch Doritos. I don't want that all over my fingers.
It's just,
Cheetos. No, people are gonna think I'm 13 and stoned.
You know, a little bit of Famous Amos cookies always made you smile. And I love the story. Wally Amos, 1975, took a $25,000 loan from some friends in Hollywood to start Famous Amos, one of the first brands to push high quality cookies in its own stores. He had his own store, a bakery, right? He learned his recipes from his aunt, real ingredients. He kept closest to handmade as possible.
Took a family recipe and made it this.
And then through the 80s, national distribution to the vending machines we all loved. Coming off that spinner, A5, I'm going to get some, B9, you're
I always thought the best moment was when you would, because I don't know if you do this.
Yeah.
I like to know what I'm signing up for.
Yes.
Right. So a lot of times I'll press A5.
Yeah. How much does it cost?
See what it's costing.
Yeah.
That moment when you realize the Famous Amos were the same price.
You're like, I'm getting a deal here.
As baked Lays.
As Fritos.
Sick.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I'm getting a
Great.
deal.
Game over.
Right.
Yes, I'm going to take this over the pack of peppermint lifesavers.
There you go. Right. I
Done.
like that.
It was an easy one.
So here you go. I mean, so talk about American dream, entrepreneur, talking about, hard work. Single store in LA made $300,000 in revenue in his first year. And by 1981 became a $12 million company. And then he sold it, I think, for like $60 million. And he passed away in
$25,000 loan into a $60 million cash out.
He said he focused on his aunt's recipe, 3 varieties: chocolate chip with peanut butter, chocolate chip with pecans, and butterscotch chips with pecan. All were handmade at the store originally. Quote, you couldn't compare a machine-made cookie with a handmade cookie, Amos told NBC. In 2007, it's like comparing a Rolls Royce with a Volkswagen.
Oh,
poor Volkswagen.
What a stray for the Beetle.
And everyone he was the big draw, apparently, as well. He was a big, loud, excited pitch man. He was known for his Panama hat and his colorful shirts. And he was always in the back doing the cookies himself.
Oh my God.
He was a hustler, man. And so
he was like the Woodman guy.
You just got to think
like every time I go to Woodman's, I hope that I see Fred Woodman from Woodman's in the commercials. We got Famous Amos, $329.
It was him. And
that's awesome.
And I just, it's a great story about American entrepreneurship. You got to think back then in the 80s, early 80s, you drive, you might smell that when you drive by. It's like the donuts at Summerfest. You got to get some of those when you smell it, right?
Yeah.
So you smell a Famous Amos. Rest in peace, Famous Amos, 88 years old.
Andy in Belgium hits it out of the park here, Armin. Famous Amos is a blue collar cookie for a blue collar city.
Blue collar cookie for a blue collar city, man. You could not have said it.
You can't say it any better than that.
Couldn't. Cookie. Yeah, I love that.
Blue collar ball club, blue collar city, blue collar cookie.
I think I'm gonna grab a bag of Famous Amos while I'm watching that movie.
Wow. Now Dan and Elkhorn, Famous Amos is the Jerry Jones of the cookie world.
Okay,
What a
what does
return
that mean?
on an
Oh.
investment. Now that's fair. The return on the investment that Jerry Jones has is
Yeah.
pretty remarkable.
I didn't know what he was going for.
Yeah,
there
I
at
didn't
first.
know if we were talking about like Famous Amos guy
Yeah.
had as many people saying that Jerry was that he was their father as
Right,
well.
right.
As
So,
many cases like that. Famous Amos, a cookie was my Cookie Crisp replacement from Roger and Franklin. See, that was the deal.
Okay.
I kind of thought it was going to be more Cookie Crisp
yeah,
cereal style.
right?
But when it really was bite-sized Chips Ahoy, I mean, it was an absolute game changer.
yeah, and once again, for me, I of course it doesn't replace like a fresh baked cookie,
Not
like
at all.
You know, but it comes in the
Be
bag
in
and
Burlington,
stuff,
the button
yeah.
cookies from Quick Trip, fire.
Well,
Absolutely.
right, you're-
Game over. You kidding me?
Comparing Quick Trip cookies that they make to like a snack bag cookie, I mean, is obviously like comparing dirt to gold. You can't do
he
it.
said
It's a different thing.
he said Rolls Royce to Volkswagen.
Well, it's a voice.
Right.
Yeah, you're just comparing different items.
Same
Totally.
deal.
Apples and
Totally
oranges,
different
yeah,
deal.
Yeah. So it's just, you know, I love hearing these stories.
Now, what do you say
about
to
the
Mailman
brands.
Jeff? Question. I'm not sure if you said this because I don't think anybody's ever been able to figure this one out. Did it just start out as Amos cookies and over the years became the famous Amos cookies?
Yeah, well, so Wally, I said Willie earlier. I'm sorry to the family.
No, you said Wally.
Did I say Wally?
Yeah, you
I thought
said
I said
Wally.
Willie
You're
by
okay.
accident. Wally Amos. I don't know when Wally became famous, but hey, I mean, I think the key is you give yourself the moniker. You brand yourself as famous right away.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and then you become famous, right?
It's like the magician that calls himself the Great.
yeah, exactly.
What's great about you yet?
Right.
I haven't seen you find a quarter behind my ear yet.
But he told me he was great, so he must be.
So he
great.
must be great. It's
Yeah.
on the internet. You can't lie on there. I like
So,
Uncle
yeah.
Leo. You can buy Famous Amos in a box full over at Sam's Club. It's a great snack at the turn after 9 holes of golf. Look at that.
There you go. There you go.
I like how many people we
I
have
love
just
that.
finding different ways that they throw this into.
Everyone's got a memory of Famous Amos. Apparently, he was also a talent agent in Hollywood. So it was like he was trying to
Man,
be.
this guy lived.
I mean, man, he had a wild story. The door head to the shop's kitchen had a star on it, just like an actor's trailer. And he understood the importance of building a personal brand decades before it became a requirement in business.
Could
Like,
you imagine what Famous Amos NIL deals would be
that's
like?
what I'm saying. Like he understood that part of it, the branding, the merchandising.
We should have had this guy a TikTok till the day he
Should
passed.
have, man. So, but you know what? He lived in Honolulu. I'm sure he had a nice,
I wonder
retirement.
if he ever got into any of the card games. You know, with like Don
Oh,
Nelson and all
man.
those guys.
Oh, I think he would have loved those poker games down there.
I bet they would have
Yeah.
been big fans of Famous Amos coming through at poker games.
I think so.
Jules in the burner phone. I used to fill vending machines. I could not keep Famous Amos in those machines fast enough.
No, because it was
First cookie
different.
to always sell out.
It was just different. It was just a different item. It was like there are sometimes you wanted a little pastry item, especially in the morning if you're having a little coffee. So awesome.
And
man.
it's just not as much of a commitment as like the big Texas
right.
cinnamon roll.
I don't really need a huge like pastry roll or like a
Now you know.
what are the hostess ones called? The Danish, the big Danish and stuff.
Well, now listen, I always like my Little Debbie honey buns each morning. All right. I have 2 of those honey buns before Miss Terry and I go and take our walk in the morning. All right. But if I have Famous Amos cookie, all right, it's going to be a great practice for us over at the University of Alabama.
if
Like
you,
those are moments right there.
you don't think Nick Saban had Famous Amos cookies once
You
a
are
week?
messed up.
You're messed up. There's no way in my life I will ever believe.
How
you
else
didn't
do you
eat
think
Famous.
he became that great?
Nah, absolutely.
Famous Amos coursing through his veins.
Nah, Miss Terry and I love a honey bun.
Miss Terry and I absolutely love the
That's a
honey
good-
buns over at Little Debbie.
That's
But
good, Bill. You got a good impression.
if you're going to tell me, all right, that there's a better snack in a vending machine at an affordable price with a little bit of sugar in it, it's going to be the Famous Amos cookie. All right.
you think
There's
Mike-
no chance.
You think Coach McCarthy ate some of those with his coffee?
Well, Oh, listen, chocolate chip cookies are going to be a winning cookie. All right. All right. It's going to be a good cookie. all
Great
right.
cookie, bite size.
Bite size. Don't have to worry about
it.
it. It's always clean. Never a problem. You go into the 7 or 8 of them right out of the gates.
I went to Starbucks, had my skinny vanilla no foam latte, had a couple bags of Famous Amos, and that's how I started my day.
That's how you started each and every day.
No drama. We're not about drama. We're about a nice bite size quality cookie product.
Wow. Tastes like actual cookies. Chips Ahoy in the bag almost feel like a greasy French fry, said Brian Buskey. I think that's outrageous. Better watch
I
that.
be honest with you, I don't remember. I haven't had a Chips Ahoy in a bag for a while. The
No.
Chips Ahoy I had in the big box, the
the
box.
big, yeah, the
you
big
know.
box, and then you're just eating the entire roll. That's the problem. You eat the entire column as it fires through. Bricky, you guys high with all this snack cookie talk? No,
I'm just honoring a great American entrepreneur, Bricky.
we're proud of the
Stay
American dream there for somebody in Honolulu being able to have such a great cookie grace us in
And-
this presence.
Andy and Brookfield, they were always gone by the vending machine by the second lunch at Brookfield Central High School. That's what I'm saying. Like, so, some people understand I'm sure someone else made all the money off of it when they really became big, at the merchandising. But
yeah, somebody
whatever.
definitely came through and was able to snatch some of that money up. But I think that 60 million cash out was very okay.
Dude, he's got the legacy too.
414-799-1973.
And he's got the legacy too. That's the thing. It's his name on this bag, Billy.
It
It's
is.
his name.
That's still Wally.
All right.
Look, Famous Amos is a very successful cookie. Okay,
Yeah, it's not
very successful cookie.
it's not who owns this brand now. Exclusive distributor Ferrero. Oh, the chocolate company? Ferrero Rocher? That's all right. I'm fine with that. At least it's not like, ConAgra or somebody. I don't know.
See, there's only one radio man
cookie.
in the state of Wisconsin that would have a take on the distributor now of Famous Amos cookies, and it's the young man
These are great.
snacking on one.
Billy, have one during the break. These are great.
I will.
You forget how good these are.
You don't have to tell me twice to have a cookie. It's 9 to noon on the game.
Thank you, Wally.
Now we gotta get a statement from our guys, Drew Olson and Kevin Brandt, the stars of the Drew and KB show, because ESPN's top insiders yesterday apparently had a little hang, and people online are having some fun with it.
Really?
What would have happened last night, say, if there was a massive moment in NBA free agency? Say somebody was traded last night that we've been sitting around waiting for, kind of wanting some news on.
All the writers would get together and start tweeting and sourcing and working and digging.
Late night Brandon Ayuk story last night could have broke. We've been waiting for a CD Lamb contract for quite some time.
The press rooms, typewriters, chumming and churning and clacking.
What if
away.
college football, Armin, ever-changing landscape, they named who was going to be their potential commissioner if they seceded from the NCAA, right? If they pull away from the NCAA and change this all around.
A lot of
Pete Thamel would be a part of it.
All the Word docs from all the great sports writers would be opening up. I know that, right?
Adrian Wojnarowski is who you'd be looking for some NBA news.
Yeah, I absolutely would.
You believe Adam Schefter would have the news if Brandon Ayuk signed a contract, CeeDee Lamb signed his contract.
Breaking news videos, live updates, whatever. Yeah.
I mean, Jeff Passan, people know, is the authority of baseball. The guy.
Well, we need all those guys, right? Yeah.
Well, last night, all four of those guys, ESPN's top insiders, were all hanging out.
Doing what? What were they doing, Billy?
They were at the Bruce Springsteen concert.
Yes.
Now,
sports writers at a Bruce Springsteen show?
A tale as old as time. I don't mean to, I just want to understand. The boss, all right, my man is still killing it, still touring. How many different send-off shows has Bruce Springsteen now done?
Good question.
It's a remarkable number that I would assume is quite significant. But I don't know if there is a more dedicated fan base.
No.
Than the sports writers for Bruce Springsteen.
It's like the Kobe and Shaq meme. What goes together better than sports writers and Bruce Springsteen, right?
The young girls in a Taylor Swift show.
I mean, that's it. I mean, here's the thing. When I first got to know Drew Olson, you know, his personality, you get to know him, his working style, chill guy, really. Not super going crazy about anything. But when you bring up Bruce Springsteen for these guys, I mean,
oh my God!
It's like every time if you walk into like a press room and there's all the sport guys are sitting around eating their free meal.
Yep.
Or they want it to be free. They used to be
paying $13 for that meal. Yeah.
It's a good chance they're talking about Bruce Springsteen. I mean,
when they could go to a show here, and when they saw him 15 rows back there.
Wow.
And the small concert hall venue that he did the night before the show in this city. Like it's remarkable.
Ask KB how many shows he's been to.
It's a language that seemingly sports writers speak differently than everybody else.
And you want to try and tell Drew and KB you've been to a Bruce Springsteen show? Great. You better say which one, what venue, and what the set list was.
What the set list was, what did he open with?
So you better be ready to know because they know about it.
They were probably there or had a friend there that opened for him.
I think it's cool, actually. That's one thing that sports media of a certain vintage will unite upon. And I'll say this. Someone asked me, and
they're never caving.
No, why would they?
Until Bruce Springsteen hangs it up and stops doing shows, which again, I mean no disrespect.
None at all.
Doesn't seem like it's stopping.
No, and it's not gonna.
Dude sold out Fiserv in what, like 20 minutes? Maybe it took that long. Instantly. People are
It's never
they
gonna.
want to be dancing in the dark.
Right. And here's Courtney Cox.
Folks born in the USA.
I didn't know Courtney Cox was in this video until like a couple weeks ago.
Wow.
If you look up the old Dance in the Dark video, Courtney Cox, a young Courtney Cox. Now here's the thing. Someone asked me once, Billy, is Bruce Springsteen for like middle-aged sports writers? Is he a god? I said no. He's a religion. A religion.
It's an unspoken language. It's remarkable. Like and when I saw the picture instantly,
look how happy those guys look.
Pete Thamel, people thought was the guy that single-handedly took down the University of Michigan last year.
Sure.
If indeed he had a conspiracy to take down Michigan, there's no way that Jim Harbaugh leaving made him this happy.
No. No.
Pete Damel's got to have a couple of kids. No way his kids made him this. He is so happy,
So
fired
happy.
up.
And I'm gonna tell you
I've never
something.
seen Schefter smile like that. I didn't know somebody's mouth could open that wide where Jeff Passan is.
I'll tell you something. I appreciate it, and I respect it, and I love it.
And Woj smiled.
I love it. I love that this is something that these guys, they love so much. This is their legend. One day we'll be doing it, Billy, about somebody else. You know, I've got my guys. Everyone's got their own guys.
Is this going to be us 40 years from now at like a
Drake?
at a
I don't
Drake
know.
show
Maybe.
or I don't know, a Young Gravy concert?
Yeah, not Young Gravy.
Not
Absolutely
Young Gravy?
not Young Gravy.
No,
No.
you were so excited for that show.
in a weird, not this type of way.
Now Dan
His
Dockage,
impact is undeniable. Undeniable.
Young
Bruce
Gravy.
Spring-
Bruce Springsteen's
Bruce
got it.
Springsteen.
Yeah, Bruce Springsteen, the boss, the Hall of Famer in rock and roll. Okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense. Got it. Okay. It is a remarkable love affair. Dan
It is.
Dockage doesn't get it. He said, told you all long ago, nerdy sports writers have always used Springsteen as their go-to being cool. It doesn't work. I don't know, man.
Okay, listen.
I don't know, Dan Dockage.
He
I
thinks
know
he's
you don't
funny.
like ESPN. I know
Right.
you don't like any of those guys that are working there right now. Those guys look like dudes hanging out, having themselves
Yep.
a freaking Thursday night.
I'm
Good for
telling-
them.
Dan Dockich might not like the establishment, so he's going to make the joke. And it's
Sure,
funny,
sure.
but listen, if you're telling me he hasn't sat alone in the car one day on that drive through Indiana and screamed out Born to Run, you're lying. You're lying to
No
me.
chance. Red Hot Tim Knott. Springsteen is meh at best.
Okay.
I said what I said.
Go to the press box and tell those guys.
Send that at 3:30.
Send that up to the press box and see what happens.
Oh my God. Don't walk into the press room and say Bruce Springsteen is meh unless you have a Kevlar cup on.
Now you want to ride the press elevator?
You better be born to
You better,
run.
you better start talking
Oh my
Springsteen.
God.
And it might let you in there.
I like this. Now 715. There's a strange club of political talking heads that are really into fish.
There you go.
I like that if there would be certain groupings that all just congregate to one set into one show, this would be it.
Right.
All right. We're going to rock with the boss into the break. Hang out with you for a Coons Can't Miss. We already got a verified play. We're going to potentially still step up to the investment window at Potawatomi Hotel Casino Sportsbook because we enjoy doing that in our third hour of the program. And it also makes our third hour of the show so much better. Are we getting into the golden age of something Armin Sarian loves so much? Well, one of the voices of his childhood, Bob Costas, said it yesterday on the Dan Patrick Show. And it had me thinking that we might just be getting into the best age of sports content of all time. Let you settle the score next as well on the NicoletLaw.com talking text line. Still talking crew as they get ready for the Guardians and Packers Broncos game 2 of the preseason, hour 3 and 9 to noon, straight ahead. 9 to noon on the game, hour 3 with you statewide. Armin Starians right there. I'm in the Smith. John Kuhn is with the Green Bay Packers out at joint practice, getting ready for the team to hit the field. Matt LaFleur was talking to the assembled media. Our guy Matt Schneidman is on the ground as well. Indeed. A couple of pictures of Matt LaFleur. One of him looking sweet with the Aviators. Saying that Matt LaFleur says the Packers had a team dinner at Shanahan's house last night in Denver. We'll go to. He releases where they're going to go for their team bonding. Now,
It's bowling, paintball.
paintball was, I want to say 2 years ago, right? Because I believe Aaron Rodgers was at the paintballing one in Green Bay.
Remember that iconic bad picture of him?
Yes,
walking
totally.
through. They tweeted it out in the gear.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean,
Where do you think they're going?
Well, just judged based on the past events, I don't think it's the arts. Okay, I don't know why they don't ever go to the opera or a museum or maybe the ballet.
Well, you don't want them to go to a museum. You don't want them walking around, right? I don't
That's true.
think you
Okay,
need
fine.
everybody on their feet.
Like,
Let's take them off their feet. Maybe
No,
for a little bit.
no, like walking tours of Denver.
Probably not taking a full walking tour of the city. No.
All right,
I would assume
we're
not.
not hiking the Rockies. We're not doing like a whole Remember the Titans thing where we go camping or go through the woods or
Now,
something.
that
like
would be a good idea. That could make some sense.
I think we're going bowling. I think
Atmosphere with Method Men and Red Men and Deltron 3030 is at Red Rocks tonight. You think they're going to that?
I think some guys might actually if they can get out and go. I don't know if that's the Packers official team bonding, but
That is not the Packers official team bonding.
I don't know what else could there be? Axe throwing. That's probably not going to be.
They'll be going to Top Golf tonight.
Top Golf. Okay, yeah,
Top Golf.
Why didn't I think of it? All the bachelor party stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
Top
Yes.
Golf.
Top Golf,
yeah.
bowling,
Escape room.
adult ballet, right? I mean, like there's a lot of
Yeah.
different things that you could be finding for a team bonding. Instead, no, this one is going to Top Golf.
That's pretty good.
Get
Oh,
the competitive juices flowing here tonight.
it's great there as you have at the Top Golf. You can rent out a bunch of bays probably because you're so
Probably
many
the whole
players.
floor or something.
So
Yeah,
then
I
you're
think they'll
good
be
to go.
okay.
And guys love golf, so
Well, now I
they love
want to
this
know
type
if
of
John's
golf.
going to be involved.
John wants to go. I guarantee.
Like now, if he knows that they're going to Top Golf, is he going to be like, "Hey, fellas,
I should probably try and get in there. Who's open? You got open
we
spots.
got to sign up on the sheet, or when do the buses leave to go over there?"
Nice thing about Top Golf is you can just kind of slide in with a group and just grab,
for sure.
and just
Yeah,
put my-
100%.
Put my name up there and grab.
I mean,
a stick.
even if John like Ubered over there, I think he'd be able to get up to the floor that the Packers would be.
oh
on.
yeah, and find a spot.
and then it would just be hanging out. And,
grab one. Let me
Yeah.
grab that stick. Let me see if I can
let's see
wheel
what's
one.
going on with this
Hey,
7
Jair,
iron.
let me wheel away on one of those here.
Who do you think's the best one?
the best
player?
golfer?
Yeah,
It's always the kickers and stuff, right? It's always like the kickers.
yeah. I
You
got
know?
a feeling Greg Joseph's probably a decent player.
I don't know why, but I feel like AJ might play a good round of golf.
AJ Dillon.
I don't know why. I
Okay.
just feel like
Kind of muscle bound. You wouldn't think that would be super easy for the swing, but maybe.
Well, that's what he wants you to think.
That's
You
true.
know? He's
Yeah.
like, look at my short game.
I
brother.
can't do what he can. Sorry. I shouldn't put that limit on him.
Somebody we wouldn't expect.
Right. Like it would be awesome if all of a sudden Kenny Clark was the best
Yeah,
golfer on the
right,
team.
Right, exactly.
The
It's like-
defensive line room, probably the most entertaining, not where you would assume the best golfers would be.
Mhm, right.
Isaiah McDuffie
McDuffie
comes out here
something
and is
like
a
that.
scratch golfer.
What about the linemen? Are the linemen golfers or not really?
There's definitely probably a couple. I can see like Josh Myers being a golfer.
Sure. Because he went to is he Michigan?
He's an Ohio State kid.
Yeah. So his Midwest guys love to play because their pops played golf.
Totally.
You know?
Yes. Summer activity where you could be outside, you can ride in the cart, not have to worry too much about it.
A lot of guys love to jump on the golf team in high school to
I
stay
bet
ready.
Zach Tom hits the absolute crap out of the ball.
Yeah. Big guys want to drive the ball.
Yeah,
right, you know?
100%. 100%. I could see Elton Jenkins being an amazing time on the golf course.
That's true.
But when I watch Elton Jenkins have the Theragun on his cat, on like his hammy, like just before a rep, I can't see him enjoying a full 18 holes.
True.
Right. Like I feel like he might be a 12 hole kind of guy and all of a sudden be like, all right, I'll see you guys in the clubhouse. That's where Top Golf's elite.
Yeah.
Bev cart's never too far.
You get food and all that
Snacks
stuff.
in front of you.
Snacks and stuff. Chill
Those
out
donuts with the syringe that you're shooting stuff into.
area.
Amazing snack.
I never had one of those. You gotta try one of those.
You haven't Top Golf.
Are
You
you-
haven't had
are-
those little donut hole
Do
things.
you like Top Golf? There's also one in Franklin at the Franklin Field Deluxe Golf Bay. Same idea.
So I haven't been to that one.
I've been to that
yet.
one. Yeah.
I don't dislike Top Golf.
Yeah. It's fine.
I think my favorite part of Top Golf, though,
Is the hanging out?
might not even be that. It's the watching and the trying to assess the social situations of the other golf bays.
That's kind of what like the people watch.
Right. Like I like to go with a couple of buddies, knowing the fact that we could be looking off here to the right where
it's a date. It's a
young
date.
individual. Yeah. I mean, he swiped right. So did she.
Yeah.
And he thought, I'm pretty good.
Right.
I'm going to be dotting a couple of bullseyes here. We'll have a nice fun night.
It's risky though.
And then all of a sudden he doesn't shoot a couple well.
It's risky. I know.
Shanks one off the net.
You try.
Pressure starts getting here. Sweat dripping off the brow.
Yeah, but I don't want to miss twice.
Do we need another round? No, we're okay over here. No, we're okay. Oh,
You-
I was gonna get one, but okay.
You know,
never mind. Don't have
you
to.
totally whiff on the ball. You try and play it off like it was a
Yeah.
practice shot. It was a practice shot.
And then it gets bad enough where he's like, you know what? I'm just messing around.
Yeah.
And then he's like waving and trying to hit the ball as it's getting rolled out from the machine.
You want
You
me
see
to-
how cool that was?
Should I go for
I
real
did it.
now? You want me to play for serious?
I could actually try.
Should I play for serious? I didn't want to make you feel weird or uncomfortable.
I don't want to make you feel weird. Yes,
See, that's a very risky
my
first
favorite
date.
part of it.
It's very risky first date because you can't not know what you're doing. You have to hit the ball solid at least.
Yeah, you
'cause
can't
you're-
stink on
You're
ice.
trying to impress this young female. You know what I'm saying? So
Well, and that's where mini golf, I think, used to be
ideal.
ideal.
Yeah.
However,
Love mini golf as a date.
there's then also the easier escape plan for mini golf, right? Like you go to Top Golf, both of you are kind of committed for a certain amount of time,
Yeah.
right? There's going to be a decent amount of time. There's going to be some sitting down talking.
Sure. Your drinks, you get drinks and stuff like
Mini
that.
golf, if indeed it's not going well, all right, we can say our goodbyes at the clown wheel, and then all of a sudden it's gone, and we all enjoy our day. It's 35 minutes in and out, and then it didn't work all that
Did
well.
you mind keeping score, or do I like you don't give her the job to keep score? Like that's also well, all
And then
right.
you lose at the end. You're like, oh, do you want the scorecard? She's like, no, I probably won't see you again. so
Right.
I don't need it.
Or it could be your souvenir when you get married one
That's
day.
true. Yeah.
Laura and I went mini golfing as a date. It was not like a first date. It was early on though. It was early on. I think she knew what she was getting into when she heard me say undulation for the first time. You know what I mean?
Oh, game over. Yeah.
Watch out for the undulation. This whole what?
Did you do it just like that too, where you
I-
laughed while you said
I
it?
don't think so. I think I tried to be like serious and like austere, like like stately.
I like this one. Okay, Schwartz Center heading to Lux Golf for the first time
Lux,
tonight with
yeah.
the family for my birthday.
It's a good
Excited
spot.
to try it. Happy
Good
birthday,
spot.
Schwartz Center.
I live right by there, so when those lights are on, I know people are pounding away in the summer at those Lux Golf bays. It's pretty nice up there. Yeah.
Patton DePere, not AJ, just took up golfing this summer. Oh,
Okay.
okay. I didn't know Patton DePere had such intimate knowledge of AJ Dillon.
He's got inside knowledge.
That's what I'm talking about.
Any
He
more
boots on the ground.
Hey, any more tidbits you want to drop in? Any more insider tips? That's
we would
cool.
appreciate it. Yeah,
cool with that.
100%. Maybe we'd be able to look on some of the betting markets and we'd be able to cash some of that thing in. To
Right.
be able to find that out. All right. No, so they're going to Top Golf. That should be a good time.
I like
They'll
that.
enjoy that one throughout the day. We're going to enjoy the updates and most likely a lot of live tweeting that starts up in about 10 minutes or so from right now. John mentioned when he was on with us an hour ago from practice that it will follow a pretty similar practice schedule and outline to how they run at Ray Nitschke Field. So some competitive periods will start firing up here in a matter of moments. Armin, it is one of my favorite jokes. It is one of my favorite conversations when guys say, oh, what's the vibe around camp so
Yeah,
far?
yeah.
What's the energy so far? Who are you watching most? But coming into Saturday night, man, I'm really excited to see this backup quarterback competition
Sure.
take a real step forward where Clifford's going to start. Michael Pratt finally started mixing himself up in with the ones a little bit more at practice this week. I assume the play time is probably going to be a lot more even Steven and maybe even lean in the Pratt direction.
Because they want to get a look, maybe. I mean,
I'm interested to see it because Michael Pratt, athletically, his skill set is different than just what Sean Clifford brings to
Sure,
the table.
sure.
But I think they kind of know what Sean Clifford is at this point. A dude that, can perform when the lights are on, better in game maybe than he is in practice.
Yeah.
But maybe the ceiling is a little bit higher with 17 than it is with 6, and you want to be able to showcase that.
Sort of a gamer or a guy that you can at least count on for some reason or another moving the team when you need to. Matt Flynn had that quality, and that always would give him the edge over Brian Brom, I think.
Yeah.
Early on in those backup battles is that for some reason or another, even though it didn't seem to make sense, Matt Flynn could just move the team and complete passes and could build chemistry. So I don't know. It also depends on what the Packers are looking for in a backup, right? I mean, do you want a guy that might potentially give a different look, or a scout team guy, or a guy that could step in and keep the team afloat for 3 or 4 games if there's a short-term injury? I mean, there's a lot to that, but it's funny because when you talk about fan talk and conversation, it's always the backup quarterback this time of year. That is like the biggest debate. Like, even Charles and Archdale on the on Packers OT
For sure.
loves calling in and talking about Clifford. So it is funny how that works. It's always like that's the conversation. Who's the backup going to be? The backup battle. For a while, people were very excited about Sean Clifford as a rookie, if you remember, because he's got that
I
gamer
remember
quality.
it quite well last year.
Not
Yeah.
that that's worn off at all, but now it's like, okay, what more can we see substantially from these guys? So it's an interesting one to watch.
Even
It'll be
more
fun.
than anything, luckily there was a separation
Oh, yeah.
in the last 10 games or so,
Oh yeah.
where you realize, okay, the number one is the clear difference maker than number two. So
Yeah.
we can separate and change that conversation. But to have drama at that point and at that position, more importantly, is something at this point in the season fans like. Fans like to be able to talk about the quarterback spot. And I think that
They like to be able to think also that matters. Like the impact of who the backup will be matters a lot.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely, Armin, because it feeds into both sides of the narrative, right? Like
Sure.
if quarterback goes down, that's our backup guy. I mean, you watched him in the preseason.
Sure.
You saw Sean Clifford at Penn State. What were we supposed to do in those 4 games?
Right.
Or conversely, so Matt Flynn goes and wins you a couple of games, national champion. That's why he won the backup quarterback job, right? So it can fit both sides of the argument. We talked about this a little bit yesterday, me and Aaron Nagler on the Carry the G radio, the podcast, which is coming back to the radio, coming up once the regular season kicks off in September. We were looking at just the differences in the player, also the difference in the moment as to when the Packers could be putting in number 2 to number 3. You saw a lot of teams last year that had to go to a backup quarterback, quickly go from 2 to 3, right? Like,
Yes.
all right, number 2
Yes.
ain't getting it done. Sorry, Tyrod Taylor. Even though there was an injury in there as well with the Daniel Jones mix up, we're going to Tommy
Because
DeVito.
we're taking a
Taking a
chance.
chance.
We
We're
want
taking a swing.
Want a new set of cards and see if it spikes. Like that's what it is, right?
I think all teams around the league are going to have somewhat of a gentleman's agreement to you. We know you like your guy better. He knows your offense. The quarterbacks aren't going to be guys that end up getting picked and plucked off different rosters.
Right.
But the Packers might feel more comfortable with Sean Clifford finishing a game. But if going into a week, you have to start him.
yeah.
You have to play him for 2 to 4 weeks as Jordan comes back from a sprained MCL or what have you.
Game plan, get him ready, all that
Game
stuff.
plan, get him ready. Michael Pratt might be better than Sean Clifford in that spot because you can
interesting.
take advantage of things that he does well.
It's a very interesting point. A lot of that does revolve around that game planning aspect. I remember, I can't remember the year exactly, but Vince Young was getting a big look in preseason, if you remember, from the Packers. And he was pretty productive in those as a backup quarterback. And he didn't make the team. And I think people were surprised because it seemed like he was really productive in those moments in preseason. And that probably had something to do with it, right? It's
Yeah,
what guy
for sure.
can I count on to give a different look or game plan or try and win individual matchups. So it's interesting. Once upon a time, the NFL allowed a third quarterback on a roster that wouldn't count against your roster. So it was great because that was the Doug Peterson spot with McMahon.
Yeah.
And the
Where it was
Packers
just
could have,
gifted in.
you could dress a third quarterback and have that luxury. You can't do that anymore, right? I don't think, right?
Well,
Although they
look,
bring that
that's the
back.
deal. You can dress the quarterback, but he doesn't have to be on your 53. He can be on your practice squad with unlimited elevations as the emergency third quarterback.
Right.
But like any other practice squad guy, he has to go through waivers and then a team can go and pick him up.
Sure.
This is where Nag started making fun of me with the Joe Wilson deal because we were going back and forth and like he's like, hey, Ben Sims, better watch out.
I love that audio.
Ben Sims better watch out.
Yeah.
Listen, Nag's just taking it.
He's just taking a run at you here.
Listen to this guy.
Okay, let's listen.
Oh, I
It's
know.
payday.
I know.
Well, maybe. Yeah, but one of them nags is going to be good. So
One
you
of
have
them is
to-
going to be good.
So you have to make sure you have the right. I mean, listen. Was there a Spencer Havner and all this that one time he had a good run? Spencer Havner or Dominic
But
Daphne?
did you take advantage of it?
I'm just saying. I get both of you here.
Well,
of what
but
you're
the back
saying.
and forth comes to like the tight end spot, and he mentioned I think maybe Joe Wilson, he gets cut. Some other team saying 82 look good. We could find a role for him.
And does he become Bob Tonyan for 1 year or Danny Vitale? I don't know if that's a good example.
But
you
even
know-
Ben Sims last year,
Yeah,
that was exactly Ben Sims.
that's true.
He gets cut by the Vikings as an undrafted free agent and comes in, plays for the Packers, scores a touchdown against the Vikings.
right.
So I mean, like and somebody that has a stat, that was my statement. I'm like, somebody that's got an NFL touchdown, teams are going to potentially look at
Sure.
one click longer
One chance. Yeah.
on the waiver wire and be
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, so he does have a stat, got better. Well,
So that's why I kind of
maybe
get.
we bring him in.
So I kind of get what you're both saying here, and he's right. There are guys like that in every roster.
Totally.
and there might be, Taysom Hill's an extreme exception.
And you
but,
like your guys better generally than other teams
Sure,
like your
sure.
guys.
And
That's
and,
why they're on your team.
And there's also this fear that one exception could be, boy, are we letting Taysom Hill go? Or if Jeff Janis picks up somewhere else, could he become a star or a special teams maven? You know what I mean? So I kind of get where you're both coming from here. Yeah, he's right. I mean, this is what we talk about this time of year, but listen, there might be a diamond in the rough, and you want to make
Very
sure
well could be.
You want to make sure if there is a diamond in the rough, you're the one mining that rock. Like, you know what I mean? You want to make sure you're in the position to pick up that diamond. So
One of
it's
the
interesting.
one of the aggregators put out a Jeff Janis appreciation post a
love
couple
that.
of days ago.
I love that.
Wild. Packers receiver Jeff Janis once had 101 receiving yards on a single drive. The playoff divisional round game. At Jeff Janis, hashtag NFL legend.
I mean, I think he's a tongue in cheek with that, but let me tell you something. He was like the last receiver left. It was like him and Jared Abbrederis, which
Him,
made
Abbrederis.
there was no one else. Who were they covering? Which made those
James
two plays.
Jones.
I still say that was probably Aaron Rodgers' most remarkable, just to get him down there.
incredible.
4th and 20.
A 60-yarder on 4th and 20.
Because it ended in a loss, I think people still forget and don't appreciate how incredibly transcendent that whole series was.
It was wild.
And now he's
And that was the day. And that's 3 hours after Randall Cobb gets carted off the field, sent to a hospital with a punctured lung because of the microphone.
the microphone. But you know
Brutal
what?
time.
And you know what? If you go to Oscoda, Michigan today, you can go see Janis Tire and Auto.
Let's go.
And you can get those tires. You
Get
can
that
You
rotation.
can get that auto. Yeah, man, I love that. That's what I love about it. There
I
he
know
is.
something else you're going to love.
Quick Lube, Jeff Janis. Yep.
Matt Schneidman and Nick Kosmider. Now, you know Matt Schneidman
I
from 97.3 The Game
Of course.
and The Athletic.
Yeah.
Nick Kosmider, the Matt Schneidman in Denver,
The
covers
Denver
the
man.
Denver Broncos, also the Denver Nuggets for
Ooh,
The Athletic.
Nice. So he's like the alternate.
Multifaceted.
He's like the alternate universe Matt Schneidman. There's a bunch of Matt Schneidman cyborg AIs
all
around.
over the place.
He's like, who are you? Well, I'm the Denver Matt Schneidman.
I'm the Denver Matt Schneidman.
I'm the Salt Lake Matt Schneidman. I'm the Orlando Matt Schneidman.
Well, the Denver Matt Schneidman's version of the tweet says some go pack go chance from the hill at Packers as the Packers take
Ooh,
the
yeah.
field.
Let's go.
Matt Schneidman's
This is our house.
Matt Schneidman's version of it
Okay.
is pretty distinguishable go pack go chance from the crowd at joint practice this morning as the Packers take the field.
You think they're sitting like 10 feet apart with their phones?
Are they right next to each other
firing
sending
each
the
other
same
off?
tweet?
Oh, I'm going to write distinct. You know what I mean?
I just can't wait. I'm excited to see the war of play-by-play tweets that we get from joint practice coming up here in a matter of moments.
And more importantly, we know that Matt Schneidman's okay.
We know he's okay.
Because John
Yes, that's
couldn't
good
find
news.
him
That's
last
good
night,
news.
So
Yes,
we know
that's
he's
good
okay.
news.
So that's good to see.
That
All
is
right.
really, really good news for us. Wayne Larrabee also posting an elite picture from joint practice as a pure stretch is going on at the moment. There are a bunch of fans over there on the hill. Definitely does not look as good as Raynitzky Field.
No, come on.
Not
I mean,
even close.
I mean, maybe they've got the scenery and the mountains and all that stuff, but I mean, we've got Raynitzky Field, we've got the people, we've got the scene, we've got the stands, we've got the ushers, we've got it all.
Oh,
I'm sorry,
man.
we're just different. I'm sorry, I'm gonna say it.
Kind of
I'm
built
an
different.
exceptionalist. We're different, okay?
Kind of built different. You know what else is kind of built different?
What's that,
Potawatomi Sportsbook.
Build me a winner. Special request today from Nate in the 262 that wants you
go.
to build him some winners, Billy. I'm going down to Pato tomorrow. Pick me some winners, Billy. I like that, Nate. And I'm going to let Billy look at some. But before he does that, I'm going to tell you how great the new sportsbook is. 2,000 square feet of
God, it's
screen.
amazing.
It is absolutely awesome. That stadium seating. Billy, they've got new chairs in there too. I checked it out. They've got a new row of chairs. They got chairs on the side with
So
the
many
tables.
tables now, which is good.
Tables are
Sit
great.
down, eat.
You can order from your you can order right there. And you know what, Billy? If you're worried about sitting down but not eating, I'm gonna be honest with you. You can sit at one of those tables as long as no one's there to eat. They're not gonna kick you off the table.
That's a good public service
You
announcement.
can chill
yes.
out there for a half hour.
Yeah.
You can play video poker at the bar, which has a great elevated view of all the screens, and it's nice because you're a little set back, so you don't have to feel like you're super in front of the screen.
Yeah, just
because
dialed in on one
so
deal.
big and beautiful there.
Mhm.
You can play video poker. They've also got a little. That's the multi-view game. You can play the roulette there as well.
What?
You know they got
Shut your mouth.
they got
okay.
all the games. It's not just video poker
That's
as
what
well.
I'm talking about.
And Billy, now right outside the sports book, if you've taken a trip down there recently, which I know you did, they've opened up that area. They're still doing construction, on that floor there.
Yes.
On the original floor of
Yes.
the Fireplace. They're doing more. They're opening it up more. There's tables there now.
Tables back there. Table games with real dealers.
Table games with dealers, which we love. We want to communicate.
Roulette
We're human.
wheel actually spinning.
We're human. We need to.
$15 potential
Oh.
minimums instead of just 25.
We
You
love
heard
that.
it here.
Billy, we're human. We want that human connection with the dealer. We want a croupier
Yeah,
spinning
I
that
do.
wheel around.
I do.
And Billy, a brand new spanking drink machine down there that does have Dr. Pepper. So
Oh!
if you're looking for the Dr. Pepper, you don't have to just go upstairs now to the beautiful second floor. You can go right downstairs and get that as well.
One of my best friends that came up last week for the party.
Mm.
Never been to Potawatomi before.
He's never been.
He had never been.
He's pretty.
Now,
impressed.
Trob's a special cat, right?
Okay.
Trob has lived all over the world.
Mm.
He was our punter in college.
So he's international.
Took
right?
multiple victory laps.
To the soda machine.
Well,
what?
in college and the soda machine.
Oh, I thought you
right?
meant okay.
He was a 6th-year senior leader,
Oh, I see what you're saying.
legend in the game.
Yeah, so he
And when Trob found out that the soda machine was free,
went nuts, didn't he? He's like, they don't even know I'm here.
he was telling everybody, people he didn't even know. You guys know they got free soda pop over here?
Oh man, yeah.
They got free soda over
Yeah,
here.
it's a good feeling.
He filled up on every single one of them. The unbridled joy to witness that, even while losing,
Because I think
felt good.
I think there are some casinos that you got to think, you got to realize there. Sometimes you just want the feeling that you got something back,
Getting something.
and that's a big thing for patrons.
Potawatomi is doing way more than just a little something.
Hey,
They're giving you
not-
a whole experience.
A whole
dude.
experience, and that's what's fantastic about it. Oh, you got some of those donuts from Cream City, the coffee spot.
Holy cow.
You had some of those
Armin.
donuts. Street Eats is really good. You can get your quick sausages and
It
whatever.
might
food.
be a big Potawatomi weekend for your boy this weekend because tomorrow UFC 305.
Oh, it's gonna be packed down there. I know.
Israel Adesanya is fighting tomorrow night.
Yeah.
And I don't know when I'm going to have to get there. It's going to have to potentially be a little early.
You know, Justin Arnett from Potawatomi told us when they first had the vision for the sports book that they wanted it to be a place where Milwaukeeans gather for big sporting events,
Yes.
for fights. If you go down there for some of those fights, man, it is packed. It's got great energy and people love it. So it's a lot of fun down there.
Yeah,
no
so
doubt
tomorrow
about it.
305 might exactly be the reason why I'm getting down there. And if Izzy's fighting, you said Nate in the 262. I'm telling you this, I ain't betting against Izzy.
I like that. All right, so Coons can't miss. We talked about earlier when John was on. We'll repeat it again for
Game
you.
over. We know what that is.
John is, of course, taking the Packers with the points against the Broncos. You're getting a whole 7. A whole 7 points. Packers +7 in the preseason Sunday night matchup at Denver. So there you go. As Coons can't miss. Had the win last night. Boy, Billy. I
We're starting to work here a little bit.
You were keeping track of the money line record for the Packers.
Oh, yeah.
right?
3-1 Packers money line 2024.
You want +260. It's sitting right out there for you.
It was +210 last week. Thank you very much.
Hey.
Pick up them chips. Scoop those chips at the Potawatomi Sportsbook.
+260 to win. I like that.
And I'm excited to see what it is when I go down and see Doug Russell for Packers game day
Yeah.
on Sunday from the Potawatomi Sportsbook.
Indeed.
It might be even be juicier for the Green Bay Packers. That's the difficult balance if you're going to price shop this
very,
thing.
very
You're going
much.
to take it early, you're going to take it, or you just take it early and often.
Can take it both times.
You're taking multiple
Hey,
times.
you're confident because you're confident, Billy. in some of those. A great slate of baseball today as
Big
well.
ones. Brewers basically even money against the Guardians. I think it's minus 108.
It is
both sides.
minus 108, minus 109. So essentially even money over under 8 in there. If you want the the Brewers plus 1.5, you can get that run for minus 195 in the run line. Interesting one, Billy. Padres at Rockies, 11.5 is the over under. A little high.
Jeez,
But
that
of
is
course,
really high.
it's Rocky Mountain High. It's in Denver.
That's fair.
I wonder if we'll have some Packers that go in a little ball game. I don't know. Tonight are they going to be? Is tonight their
Tonight's Top Golf
Oh,
night,
so they were not going to be.
but they
going
still
there.
might be able to. William Contreras has gone yard in 3 out of 4 games.
Ooh, you like that, Billy?
Plus 390
Plus 390
to go yard tonight.
All
Jackson
right.
Churio 5-1. If you're interested,
Sounds like a John the Engineer.
where do you think
parlay.
Where do you think your boy Sal Frelick's falling in
on the home run line?
on the home run
On
line?
the home run line, I'm gonna guess plus 1,500.
Oh, plus 1,400.
See,
Not good enough value for Armanzari
hey,
tonight.
you can bet him
To bet on number
you-
3.
You can bet him not to hit a homer at minus 10,000. So you want to win a whole dollar? You put a Ben Franklin down. You put a Ben Franklin down. I got $100. Walk right up to the thing and said, "I have no confidence in Sal Nerf bat for
Dude, he
Frelick."
steps on one, and that is
Oh,
going to
yeah.
be the worst night of your life.
or best because you're still a Brewer fan.
Oh, that's fair.
You know?
That's fair. Yes. There he goes. That's patented positivity from Armanzari, and this is 9 to noon statewide on the game.
against Felipe Aguilar.
Nine to noon on the game. So we are fully covered. We are fully covered from joint practices in Denver, Colorado. Not only is Kuhn J30 there, that's John Kuhn, two-time Super Bowl champion. You follow him on Twitter, otherwise known as X, at Kuhn J30. Yes. You can also watch the show on Twitter and X at the Game MKE. So I tweeted at Kuhn J30. And you, Armin Sarian, this picture.
Did he tweet back?
That the distinguished Diana Rossini.
Oh, yes.
Now, Wayne Larry, not a huge fan of the new podcast. Might not be a huge fan of the new podcast. But Diana Rossini and her podcast partner, Chase Daniel.
You didn't like the podcast?
Scoop City.
Yeah.
Are also in Denver for joint practices.
Okay.
Packers and Broncos, right?
Pretty cool.
So Diana posts this picture of her educating Chase Daniel and James Palmer of some stuff that's going on. And in the background of the picture, there's a lot going on in this picture.
There's a lot. Right? She's pointing something out.
She says, showing them the under center footwork of Bo Nix throwing a quail route.
Okay. Yeah.
But I can't help but see in the background.
Everyone's on their tiptoes in this picture.
Everyone is seemingly standing on their tiptoes.
Okay.
Yes.
So what's going on behind?
In the background, in the far corner, is a young man who looks to be in jean shorts.
There might be light blue khaki shorts.
Right. Jean shorts, what have you.
With the crew socks, the white dad socks.
Oh my God. And you said it, not me.
And what are these like? These aren't Hokas. What kind of
the
sneakers?
most like worn out Converse old school shoes like that you could possibly have. A split between Vans and Adidas for our guy Matt Schneidman in the crew socks. Anywho,
they're like Payless brand Yeezys or something. I don't know what these are.
He's standing like alongside the wall And I don't know.
over the sewer grate.
Mate over the sewer grate is the reason why the shadow cast by him
What?
would potentially give you the allure that he's using the little reporter's room right behind
Yeah, like
everybody.
what is going on here now? I'm assuming there might be it is hot there. There's a sewer
You
underneath.
said maybe he's
I
filling
think-
up water.
I think that's a pipe underneath there. That's
Wha-
like a water pipe
Pause.
to
Okay.
hook up to a
Listen,
a
Armin.
No, I'm saying it might
Talk
hook
about
up.
going to the bathroom and pipes. Let's calm
No,
down
I'm
here.
saying I think it's hooked up to like a bubbler.
Like a
right?
bubbler,
I
okay.
think that's it. I
Okay,
think
that's your guess.
look at the way he's got the right hand because we know the right arm is
Sure.
bicep because of the tat. The
Uh-huh.
left is lower, so he's probably holding the bottle. And I think he's filling up water. At a bubbler. That's my thought. I hope that's what it is.
So I
'Cause
just said
I know what you're looking at.
I
here.
just said, what is Matt Schneidman doing in the background here? I gotta know. Well, Matt Schneidman says, you really want to know?
Oh, did he tweet back?
Tweeted back, you really want to know?
Oh gosh.
Getting cold pizza from my backpack.
Oh my gosh.
Trash. I know.
Okay, see, I didn't have the cold pizza thing. It's 95 degrees, Matt. Why you can't put pizza in your backpack? You think he's got ice packs?
No longer cold pizza.
What?
It's no longer cold pizza in
Matt,
the backpack.
It's like 95 degrees.
It's got to
there.
be absolutely cooking in there. However, good time then. You know, I got cold pizza and it's staying cold for long. I'm going to eat it during period 2.
I just think Chase Daniels there, Diana Rossini, NFL photographers,
And
coaches,
my man's
players.
grabbing a slice of Palermo's that he had last night.
I just don't understand
Matt,
how,
what do you got over here?
how-
Some Connies? You want a slice? When'd you make it? Last night?
how did it stay cold, man? I'm going to tweet it. How did it stay cold? Do you have ice
God,
packs?
it's just awesome. I mean, the content world is a beautiful, beautiful deal. And to
That's-
see
That's why we love him. There's no pretense about Matt Schneidman.
Red
you
Hot
know?
Tim Now, what kind of pizza is it? Sausage? Pause. Yeah, I mean, like it's a thought, man. Like you see him in the background of this picture. There were about 1,000,002 different ideas that I had.
Yeah.
Getting cold pizza was not necessarily one of them.
I don't understand.
Probably
why,
should have been though,
Why do you have to?
because I fully respect the game.
Why do you have to go against the wall to get the pizza like that though? Like I don't understand.
Well, I mean, listen, I don't know that I'd want everybody seeing me pull a
Sure.
couple of slices of Supreme,
Good point.
screaming Sicilian out of my backpack.
I think Matt also has to, and I hate to be this guy because I know he's a grinder, he's a writer.
He's a dog.
He's got to step up his shoe game when he's around this group a little, just because you got
Oh,
a couple pairs of Air Max 270s. I think the Photog has Hoka's, what you should. Of course,
Sure.
every camera
Good
guy
time.
is going to have
Yeah,
Hoka's.
gotta have Hoka's now.
We got Air Max by, is that Chase? And then Diana's got her white sneaks. We have some dunks here. And I don't know what shoes these are, Matt. You know, I just want you to make sure you have the social cachet that you deserve, that befits you. Because you are Matt Schneidman homeowner. And I
A
want
true
people,
homeowner.
I don't want people to think, you're just scrounging away here. All right.
Guy
So,
said cold, aka room temperature. There's no way that stuff's
Room.
cold.
room temperature. Why don't you put a sandwich in a hot backpack sometimes and then try and pull that sandwich out?
Oh
You know,
my god.
I don't know. I hope it's
I can't wait for John Kuhn to see this picture in about 3 hours after practice and then to be able to get his reaction on Monday.
did he eat some of the pizza too? John, I mean,
Oh, that's a good point.
I mean, John
That's a good
would,
question.
John would dive right in. I don't know. We do need his reaction on that. We do need his reaction because there's a lot going on with that.
Mailman
picture.
Jeff, he's gonna get a case of the belly rumbles and make a dash for that can that's sitting there.
That's another concern. It's not a spot.
Yeah, it is a dicey proposition to be eating cold pizza that was in your backpack in almost 100-degree heat when you're in a public setting and you're going to be
right.
there for a little while.
I can't imagine it's going to be easy to run to the reporter's room in that situation.
Wow. Good for you, Matt. We're pulling for you, bud.
That's why I don't eat on Packers game day. I mean, I don't until it's over.
You don't eat anything on Packers game days?
No, sometimes I
Are
have
you Gilbert Browning it?
sometimes I have like a pastry in the morning. I'm not eating or drinking that much.
A
I
honey
can't
bun? You and Miss Lara have a honey bun in the morning? All right.
get in a bag of Famous Amos. That's what I'm eating.
Now that Matt owns a house, he can't afford lunch out or good stylish kicks. Come on, Armin. That's what
Listen,
it was.
I'm gonna put him onto some good discount sneakers. You can get them on discount. You can get a nice pair of Giannis's for $50.
We can find you some immortalities and make it look a lot better for our guy, Matt Schneidman. 414-799-1973. All right, we're going to round third, head for home. And I don't know how we're going to tie a bow on this week and how it's going to continually run through, but I didn't anticipate seeing Matt Schneidman pulling pizza out of his backpack at joint practices. It is a beautiful week. We're going to tie a bow on it next, 9 to noon on The Game. All right, can't get out of here without bringing this one to the forefront and bringing it to my guy Armin Sarian on 9 to noon. We're back on the game. So Armin, I told you that I was listening to Bob Costas on with Dan Patrick yesterday. And
yes. Early hero for me is a kid wanting to do sports broadcasting right in the 90s, right?
Yeah. So it's not very timely because it was while the Olympics were going on last week, but Dan's off this week. So they're, regurgitating as much stuff as you can. And when you're on YouTube driving back and forth to practice,
You
I
see all that stuff.
pop on an interview and listen to it throughout. So I'm listening to Costas and DP as he's asking him about the coverage of the games.
Yeah.
Of the inclusion of Snoop Dogg, how different the Olympiad is now as comparatively to when he first started covering it. And Bob said something to me, or said something that got to me really quickly of he used it in only the Olympic connotation.
Okay.
But I think it changes how we're going to be able to consume as much sports content as we do.
Yeah.
He said, think about how easy the get to know you features were in the Olympics of kids pole vaulting off their beds, of gymnastics meets at 4 and 5 years old.
Yeah.
Every parent seemingly of the young Olympians this year had almost all the hilarious moments of their childhood documented on phones.
And it's not very different than what we talked about with the 82 Brewers documentary.
Totally.
That I don't know if there's any video left that we haven't seen, but down the road, there's going to be a lot of video.
There's going to be so much video.
So you think
that it's going to be almost difficult to condense it down into small hour and 30-minute features, hour and 45-minute features.
And maybe less of a novelty, so maybe less exciting. Like Armando Duplantis, the pole vaulter.
Yes.
We had video of him pole vaulting his backyard at 5 years. Stuff
right
like
away.
that. It's a good point. That's a good point.
And you got so many of these young athletes, and it's only going to increase.
Yeah.
Is the volume of content that these parents have of their kids,
more
especially
available.
the better and better of a player you are at a younger and younger age. You think about it, where he said the quote that he had was, kids are taping documentaries before their prodigies.
That's a great point.
And I'm like, wow,
prescient point.
Think about it that way.
Yeah.
How the foresight, now it wasn't foresight. He had won 5 titles and was the greatest basketball player at that time right then, of Michael Jordan for his final year to say, I'm having this camera crew follow us around.
It might be our last time.
Be our last time. And I'm going to make oodles of money on it when somebody doesn't even fathom that this stuff still exists.
And that's kind of what made Last Dance the most interesting.
It is what made it
Because
interesting. 100%.
There's a lot of things you can do with documentaries, and we see them all the time. Every time I do 30 for 30 pops up, of which I'm very excited for every time. And they're usually footage from broadcast and interviews, right? But when you get the actual footage, the behind the scenes footage that was a timepiece, right? I don't mean just the broadcast footage. I mean like the behind the scenes footage,
the real stuff,
which you had for Last Dance that took it to the next level. The locker room, the documentation, the background stuff, the
playing quarters with
all that stuff,
or playing the game where you're trying to throw the coin to the edge of the wall with the security guy and the shrug. Like, if it wasn't for that stuff, that 10-part series isn't the same.
And that's the only thing I hope for when I see documentaries of my favorite teams now, like the 82 Brewers one. I can't wait for it. We talked about it, but maybe somehow, some way they have someone's home video of something in the clubhouse or something, or some broadcast news footage that I haven't seen yet. That's what you hope for. But you're right, Billy. We're documenting and taping documentaries of our lives now. I mean, that's true. I don't know how many pictures and videos
their entire lives
of Lena's first month. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's just so when she becomes famous tennis player one day or whatever, Lena. She will. I'm gonna have all that.
You're gonna have all of it. You're gonna have all of it when she's in Wimbledon at 17, and they keep flashing the camera to you and Lara sitting there as you're not coaching her from the stands, but you're really, trying to get some subtle pointers and you're fist pumping there in the stands. They have 45 minutes of B-roll of her entire life.
Yeah,
like
it's so interesting.
It's a fascinating way of looking at it and thinking about it from how sports is delivered to us.
Yes,
the personal stories, I would argue, have never been more important to the consumer.
Definitely, because it connects you with the storyline. It connects you emotionally.
How many people became fans of Kirk Cousins?
Yeah,
a year ago after quarterback.
I know my wife was one of them. Absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of people that need that personal.
They want to find that connection.
Once you know that you're rooting for them because you have a vested interest in their story. And that's why, I mean, you talk about the Olympics, Billy. A big thing was Fluff, where they call it Fluff, but it's the name of all the little featurettes they would do.
Yeah.
Throughout the 80s and 90s, that was a big thing, that when you got the fluff on the athlete, the little 3 or 4 minute, featurette, it was done to build an emotional connection with an American audience.
1,000%.
And when you did that, you became more interested in their story. Dan
you
Jansen,
become more personal.
Kerrigan,
it becomes a more personal feel.
all
and
that stuff.
especially in the Olympics, the way the conversation was around, it makes it fascinating for me as somebody that once we got to like day 4 of the Olympics, was wondering when day 14 was going to come, because then it was 3 days away from being over.
Yep.
Right. Like, to build that kind of investment and energy into the story and into the athlete.
Yeah.
I could see 2028 me being a lot more into it.
But the thing is, now we're doing that. Now it's happening naturally
in sports that we watch all day
because of social media, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
no doubt.
you get to know athletes sometimes because of social media, or
hell, I did not like Bryson
podcasts.
DeChambeau until
Right.
I watched him on that Breaking 50.
Right. And then you get to know a guy. I mean, that's F1's become more popular because of that open wheel racing and
which is
I get
mind-boggling because that sport stinks.
They
never pass anybody.
It's kind of boring. Yeah, I know. But when you
They just drive around and no one hits anybody.
But
No one passes or hits anybody. But I mean, a little rubbing is racing, baby. Let's get some NASCAR in
But
here.
you learn the storylines, you learn the family and all that stuff.
Yeah.
You get into it. And of course, leave up to Bob Costas to put it so eloquently, because he always was able to do that. Very good.
It was awesome, dude. And then the funniest part was Bob Costas in the room that he was in. And this is what I thought of Bob Costas and like why it made sense.
Yeah.
He was in a room where the entire lining of the top of just below the ceiling was all sports Emmys.
Of course. He has
All right,
door
Bob, we
stops.
get it.
He
All
has-
right, we get it. You're awesome. Okay.
How many he plays door stops for sports Emmys? Listen,
Dan asked what the weirdest places you have one. He said,
Yeah.
does your wife let you have one in the bedroom? He said that was off limits.
well, think about it. I mean, he knows about this because he was in the forefront of being able to build drama, storyline, and build the epic tale of what a game was. And it got you excited. I mean, I'm speaking for the NBA and NBC, obviously. His opens and stuff, he would build that drama. He'd write it eloquently like an epic fantasy tale. And that got you excited when he set the scene.
Got you fired up for the game, dude.
To the importance, the drama, the spectacle, the stage. And then you're like, wow, this is intense. This is great. I can't wait for this game.
I can't wait for it to start, man. That's like how I feel for the Mike Heller show every day.
Absolutely.
I just cannot wait for the Mike Heller show to start because it is maybe the most illustrious 3 hours of radio that's broadcasted across the country every single day. Starts up at noon, and we're going to get out of the way here for it to go. But before then, we got to talk to Mike Heller because otherwise our week is not complete. We'll do that next. Those are our Quick Trip takes of the day, brought to you by Quick Trip. Need something for dinner tonight? Don't cook. Stop at your local Quick Trip. Pick up a freshly prepared, absolutely delicious take-home meal. Armin, they might even find there. And cookies and glazers. It's the weekend. Enjoy. It's been 9 to noon on the game.